back. It is time for the ESL PUBG Masters America's Final. My name's Toffies. I am joined by Matchroom and D as we kick off the festivities here. It's good to be back for some ESL action, Matchroom.
Oh yeah, especially after how ridiculous last week was with the qualifiers. I mean, we just saw the highlights from them. There's a lot of teams that had expectations weren't met. That means the fact that this lobby is going to be nuts as we're bringing in Latin America, merging it in with North America, and the games are going to be killer.
Here's Trog's chance. Yep.
Trying to make the push while Mime is down. They've actually got 2 downs now as Kildemo will find Tickleton. 3v2 here. Troglodytas desperately trying to sprint over the top of the ridgeline to see if they can find any angle. The grenades are coming in to spray and pray, but it's not going to find it. Shrimzy should get this res onto Mime in
so
time.
close, though.
And now Win has gone down. Necro has found him. Sonic's falling apart here. Shrimzy will find Kildemo. Doesn't matter. Troglodytas with the 7-kill win in game number 1.
I'm all about rooting for the underdog, but this is going to be an incredibly difficult task. He's going to find one. DraftKings, can he find another, Poro?
Well, we'd love to be able to get that flush, but Flood not going to give it to him there. Now Snakers has been spotted out. DraftKings, dangerous man with that gun in his hand, and he's not going to find any knocks. He'll eventually go down. There you go. E United gets the 2nd win of today with 8 kills on Everest. And they might end up with 20 at this at the rate this thing is going. They're going to find Hooligan. They're going to find Tater.
That's gross. 17
away
kills
from the cliff. 17 kills in the bag already for E United. 8 for Rello himself.
I think he saw them. Oh god, he's trapped.
Well, we spotted him out. Now he spotted him. Okay. Now he's in a little bit more trouble.
He's got to play this hill. Yep, this ridge is this is it. He's got to go for it here.
Here come the flashbangs. Progression of flashbangs immediately comes through. Nice try from DraftKings, but in the end, it's going to be another win for United as they collect, what is it, 17 kills?
18 kills.
It is an absolute smoke mess right now in the center of the zone, and everybody is spraying and praying, hoping they can find someone. United got a little bit too close for comfort, though. Falls just too easy, takes them out. 3 players still standing for them. 1 for Yahoo, 1 for Fiumba, 1 for Sonics. The circle is tiny. The smoke is thick. And Shrimzy has a shotgun. Is it going to be enough? Just too easy. 2 standing. Shrimzy spots 1. Can he spot the other? He doesn't. It's going to be the zone that takes him out. Oh, it works. 4 kills, but Sonic somehow wins this.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay, we gotta run this back. All right. How
this is crazy close.
You gotta keep your eyes on, but how close can you possibly get here? Shrimzy taking some blue damage there. I think he spots it. It's Coda Kid that we got to keep an eye on.
Coda Kid, yeah, he takes 1 tick. He takes not another tick.
Flushes mine. Oh, it's the he got him a headshot.
Oh my goodness.
Right before the last tick of blue to Shrimzy. Just like that, 2 instant knocks from T8 gives Benya a little bit of time to work with. He's going to get Shimboy, but immediately gets traded out. So it's a 2v1, I believe. Yeah, Tater, nope, 2v2. As Palix is going to go, oh no, Palix loses the 1v1 against Shinboy, and there you go, Yahoo. Get that elusive first victory.
The high ground, because as you called it, that vulnerability towards Fiumba, who've just spread their attention wide down on the low ground. But there you go, Snakers finding an opening knock onto RDS. Kickstart waiting for the call to make the run right as a teammate moves. Looks like a 2v2, a full push down the hill. And when FPS finds 1, finds 2, Kickstart and Flood both fall. There's nowhere left to go. E United eliminated.
We're not going to get it, though, as DraftKings strikes back. Sparking now very low. As T8 not going down without a fight. What a nade from Palix. As T8, they are having a dream weekend so far. I love this from Big Bang Boom. The offensive smokes. They are just dropping smokes right on top of Young King's head. They're saying you have to come through the smokes to peek us. And there you go, right on. Okay, Psycho going to find a nice little angle on the sharp shot, gets the knock right there, and that's going to open the door. RDS going to hop the fence, try to send it back over. Keenan there, and now Roth going to have to escape into the smokes. He's going to get 1. Going to get the flush, get another point. As the other 2 pushing through, there you go. Young Kings will clutch it out.
When we look at our leaderboard, the top half of it still has a lot that can be played out moving into next week, and I want to see who takes this week, reflects the best, brings it back in, because we know that whenever we talk about like our big study teams, some of them aren't here, so there could be some doors open given how much studying you can blow up and really come in after doing your homework and find that leaderboard.
Absolutely. ESL PUBG Masters offers the chance for players to take that half play, go reset, and come back stronger. I can't wait to see what happens next week.
Just a little bit about where they want to go. They'll step down for a little bit. Looks like Yahoo has found a tenuous spot. What is going on?
They just sent it into the dip and they ran over half of the team. And they actually got the wipe for it. I didn't see how many were still left.
There you go. Yahoo going to open up onto Dodge as they make that pass. Are they sending it right in?
They're going to go right on top of
They're going
Sonics.
right in. Oh, no. I don't think that was that the plan?
I think the plan was to just
4
send
deep
it and hope
inside
not to
the
get
prison,
caught.
Huh? Okay.
Oh, okay. You know what? 10 points for that landing. There you go.
Tokyo Manjigan going to try to do the same thing, but they're going to crash right into Dodge here. They want the fight. They go 4 deep. They're going to lose Juarez right off the bat here as Finna will hold the line here. Zella going to push through.
What a flash.
Nice flash coming through from Finna as he gets Zella. Can he get another?
Finna for 2.
Finna is on fire. He takes 3 down. It's down to just Colton for TM, and he's got 1 HP to his name. Hikerman doing work from the window. Can he get the flushes here? Colton, not even time to go for the heal. Dodge, what a hold on the long building.
And Young Kings 22 or United, pardon me, have actually been going at this for just a little while as they've continued to try to get into the zone. United are using so much of utility. I can't imagine that they still have too much left after this. You can see Relo's just down to smoke grenades and potentially a few flashbangs. So there you go, another flashbang. Keep that pressure. Waiting to see members get. Looks like Psycho's going to get 1 when Flood comes back out. Assistance.
Oh, Snaker!
Oh! It is an absolute smoke mess right now in the center of the zone, and everybody is spraying and praying, hoping they can find someone. United got a little bit too close for comfort, though. Falls just too easy, takes them out. 3 players still standing for them. 1 for Yahoo, 1 for Fiumba, 1 for Sonics. The circle is tiny. The smoke is thick. And Shrimzy has a shotgun. Is it going to be enough? Just too easy. 2 standing. Shrimzy spots 1. Can he spot the other? He doesn't. It's going to be the zone that takes him out. Oh,
what?
It works. 4 kills, but Sonic somehow wins
Shrimzy, yeah, I need to see this because I still don't know exactly what happened. We saw him get the first pump kill. I see it now. It's the back member of Just Too Easy. He goes down to the blue. Wait.
Was it? Yeah, okay. Yeah. You want to tell me it again?
Yeah. Wait a second.
Run it back. Keep it running.
Maybe.
I don't know what the hell happened.
Well, because it looked like Shrimzy died first, right? Like, am I crazy?
I don't know. Look, maybe the back guy for Just Too Easy took 2 ticks.
That's what I thought as well. But then looking at the replay, that's not what it seems.
Here it comes.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay, we gotta run this back. All right. How did
this
that
was
go
crazy
to
close.
That's what you gotta keep your eyes on. But how close can you possibly get here? Shrimzy taking some blue damage there. I think he spots it. It's Coda Kid that we got to keep an eye on.
Coda Kid. Yeah, he takes
Kid.
1 tick. He takes not another tick.
Flushes mine. Oh, it's the he got him a headshot.
Oh my goodness!
Right before the last tick of blue for Shrimzy.
Hello PUBG friends and welcome to another PUBG Playbook. ESL Masters Grand Finals week number 1 is done and E United found a lot of success by getting pretty high. Let's take a quick look at how they managed to find all that success, and our first look at it's going to be on Everest. I don't know about you, but whenever I was a kid, King of the Mountain was no joke. America's players seem to agree, but not by choice. Moving into day 1 at game 2, most teams are playing to the southwest of Everest, hoping the fact that it moves away from the mountain, and with good reason. The mountain itself creates a good divide in the area for multiple teams to be able to climb up and survive here. Also, the western side of Everest has far more trees to block out sight lines of teams that are going to be on the peaks looking down, and potentially also provide cover from teams that are going to be next to you. Teams usually try to jockey around each other for potential climbing spots or gatekeeping positions depending on how the circle goes if it stays Everest. Unfortunately for all of these teams, the circle shrinks are not going to favor those in the low ground, and we are staying due up on Everest. E United realizes they have an opportunity. They dodge most of the combat for an easy climb to the top. They're able to move into a strong defendable position right as the circle pops and shifts to the east, favoring them and leaving Fiumba out cold. As this happens, Tactical 8 and Spicy Fish commence to fight in the low ground tree cover while Fiumba and E United fight to get control over the peaks. Fiumba realize they're being gate kept out by E United, so instead opt into a low ground push. Right as Tactical 8 is finishing up and beginning their rotation, it's going to be whenever they are spotted out. They do manage to catch T8 off guard, picking up a couple of kills, but the rest of the match is really just dealing with E United's high ground control, which after Tactical 8 falls allows them to get low ground control as well, and DraftKings finds himself squeezed and falls valiantly on the unforgiving mountainside. E United exploited distractions and made a great rotation to take control over this game and use the high ground to the utmost advantage. And it's not the only time that they did that in day one. Let's be real, from about Circle 4 and day number 1, game number 4, it was pretty apparent that E United had a phenomenal spot for this endgame. They moved from Bacado to a rock set that had a cliff facing down into the circle, with the other teams contending for a few spattered compounds and try desperately avoid the killing fields or E United sightlines. Dodge ended up having one of the better defendable buildings with the Longhouse and did a great job of repelling the invaders as they came in. Sometimes fortune favors the bold as Young Kings decides to roll right through the open onto the foothills at E United's cliff. The hope with this play is now that they're inside the dip, defended from the people on the outside, those same people that would be able to take pot shots at them cannot allow E United to look down on them, risk E United getting shot themselves. The strat works as E United has targets in abundance, and while this part of Miramar is desert, E United is just farming away. Moving to Circle 7, it's finally time for E United to have to leave their high ground. Blood moves to the north and try to creep up back behind Dodge, and while he does get a knock, late game blue damage is no joke and he goes down to that. Next up is E United leaving that high ground, though as Reload gets knocked by Dodge. Snaker is knocked by Sir Isaac Newton himself. Both Dodge and Young Kings are eliminated shortly afterward. DraftKings realizes he's in a 2v1 and moves into a far more defensive stance, moving heavily to the east. An easy res comes through, and now the two-man E United leave the hillside and move out to the foothills themselves, sweeping through and also sweeping Fiumba out for the win. So instead of looking at the plays, because there's going to be a lot of shooting happening from E United's position, let's look at the benefits and why high ground has been so strong for United. High ground gives you the ability to damage those around you from so much further away. Even just shooting them can force a stall or force them to go into a new position. All of these actions provide a buffer zone that anybody that's going to enter into knows the fact that they are going to have to be mitigating high risk, but whenever we're looking at high ground, the zone expands to be so much larger. You can usually even play more risky. One, because you have a ton of info. You get to see everything that's happening around you and your teammates can feed that. So knowing how to peek and where to peek is even safer. Resource management is extremely important, though, as unsurprisingly, you lose the ability to loot those that you kill, meaning what you take is all you've got for the entirety of this game. All of these factors allows you a certain level of control in a game. As we have repeatedly seen through these matches, as the game progresses and you keep that high ground point, the power only increases. Everybody has now moved into that buffer zone. The only downside is since you've been shooting everybody for about 15 to 20 minutes, that means that everybody else wants you dead, like bad. So when you leave the safety of your nest, it's got to be pretty careful. It's also pretty cathartic when you finally do go down. That's okay. You can laugh all the way to the leaderboard with the KP you got from the control for 15 to 20 minutes there. United may be at the top in week 1, but can they hold on to it in week 2? Tune in this weekend as we're going to crown the ESL champion. Until then, see you on the Battleground, and probably on Destin. Just can't stop playing.
Hold the line here. They're looking to push through.
What a flash.
Nice flash coming through from Finna as he gets Zelly. Can he get another?
Finna for 2.
Finna is on fire.
Shrimsy spots one. Can he spot the other? He doesn't. It's going to be the zone that takes him out. Oh, it works. And when FPS finds one, finds two, Kickstart and Flood both fall. There's nowhere left to go. E United eliminated.
Welcome to day number 2 of ESL Masters America. United is still holding on to their lead, but Sonics have their sights set on first. Tons of teams still had their chance to climb up the leaderboard, but with only 2 days left, today has got to be good. And having Cam and Clover with me on desk is the fact that my day is going to be pretty good as well. They're going to be breaking down a ton of great information, but let's go ahead and walk through everything you need to know, so that way everything they're going to be talking about is going to be making a ton of sense. Let's start off looking at the format itself and how we got to where we are today. It has been a lot of action across 2 different continents to get to this point. You can see tons of teams have fought their way through time and time again to get to this stage, but we are on the far right of this in the grand finals itself with 30 matches, and we only have 2 days of that action still to go. There is a ton of stuff on the line, but one of those things is going to be $50,000 in prize pool altogether, $12,500 for first and all the way down to $500 in 16th place. But also, let's not forget the very, very important PGC Qualification Points, as ESL Phase 2 is also going to provide a ton of those for players to have to work around. We had a lot of great action that was happening yesterday, but let's take a walk through with Clover and Cam to get an idea on the teams that you should be watching, starting off with E United.
E United, I think the biggest issue for them right now is that they have this big lead. As you can see, farming lobby, 65 points, 42 kills. The issue is that there is none. They could have a horrible day today, and I think they're still going to be in good form, in good place. And I guess that's really rather the lack of issue, say, right? They're top in placement points, they're top in kills, they're top in average kills, they're top in average placement points. And even though they've had some 0-point games, they're still leading in all of those categories. And a lot of that's coming from these double-digit kill games, regardless of whether or not they pull a win out with one.
Yeah, Sonics though, they are on the chase. They didn't have as grand of a start, didn't have as explosive of a start as E United or Yahoo did, which we'll talk about them later. But they have been looking really, really good. It's like this second weekend, especially we have Tiggleton on the top of the scoreboard as you usually expect. Shrimzy seems to be back in his old form, getting a lot of points for himself as well. We've mentioned it multiple times that yeah, they don't look like they are pulling out the impossible like they used to, but honestly, they are still so much above average in performance.
Yeah, I mean, in Tokyo Maji Gang, really finally showing some signs of life. We had so much expectations of them coming out of the group stage because they were just able to win all their scraps. They were pulling up points and kills. Yesterday, we were starting to finally see that. Juarez and Colton have been popping off for this team with the support of Zealot and Hello My Bad. Colton right now leading damage and kills, and that is just the growth we want to see from them with 2 days left.
Yeah, and Yahoo, talking about growth, we are going to need to see a little more of that. Looking at yesterday, they were constantly in the mix. They were constantly fighting on week 1, getting points every single game. They were always going out with a good number of kills, even if they were going out in double-digit placements. Yesterday, though, that didn't really happen, and we were talking about E United having those big high double-digit kill games yesterday. Yahoo needed to have those sort of consistent, scrappy rounds consistently in order to stay at the top, and they're still in 3rd place, but they have been overtaken by the Sonics, and that lead that E United have is even greater than what it was to start yesterday off.
Yeah, E United having that hefty lead now is going to make it more complicated for the Sonics, but we know that they can put up a decent amount of points in one game, and a whole day to work with. It's going to be pretty strong, all considered. But I know, Clover, you were talking about Fiumba going in, and they're in a decent position for themselves right now. So let's see how they can climb through it all. So give me a little bit of an idea on what you have your eyes on with Fiumba.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, their ability to win fights and stay up in the late game. I think we've seen a lot of improvement. On the first week, they got chicken dinners both on day 2 and day 3. We didn't see one from them out yesterday, but a lot of late game performances. And I think that if we can see some additional chicken dinners this weekend, I mean, right now, they are in 4th place. That's absolutely what they needed to challenge the LATAM seed. But it is still so close. And I think that a lot of the teams that were around them didn't have as good a day yesterday as they could potentially pop off. And so if you're Fiumba, you need to make sure that you repeat yesterday, which I believe was 36 points in terms of their performance in the 5 games, to make sure that teams like Bing Bang Boom, TAC-8, and the ones that are just below them right now on the leaderboard don't leap them for the last 2 days.
Well, we are seeing a lot of points being sponged up at the top, and that's providing some opportunities for these teams to grab a hold of. Fiumba being one of them, a team that is desperately trying to climb and knows the fact that they need to get into 8th place to be in a strong position to contest whenever we move into the next PCS is going to be wild card, Cam. What do you think's going on with them right now?
listen, they were one of the teams that like really leaned into edge control, just like really scrappy edge playstyle once we came back to the current points rule meta, or I guess format is a better term for it. And it was like a total switch up from last year's really conservative play. And that was so exciting to see coming to this event, coming to the grand finals. They just weren't really able to win any of their fights at all. And we saw that continued through most of the day yesterday. However, game 5 showed some signs of life. They had a really, really solid fight. They had like, well, I think 6th place, but like 10 kills to go along with it. That's what you would expect from a team like Wildcard. The biggest issue for them, though, is that overall, it's actually Gregshot that seems to be the lowest performer, at least in kills. And Gregshot is on this team, first and foremost, for the kills, backing up Niku's as the 2-star players. And so with him missing, it's a pretty big gap that Cow and Adam are trying to fill. And, you know, bless their hearts for trying, but that is still a pretty big gap playstyle-wise.
Okay, well, we've been talking. We've let you know all the storylines you need to know to move into this first game. So let's go ahead and shift over. We've got Godspeed and Porosaurus to walk you through the first game.
Well, hey there, everybody. It is I, Porosaurus, and it is he, Godspeed, a.k.a. Destin Kane, and we are bringing you this second day of this final week. Godspeed, there is, yeah, you like that? You know, it's always a plug-in, man. We're tying it all in. It all comes together. As,
we're storytellers.
We are. We weave a tapestry of tales. You know? We get really in there. But,
it's going to be a good day.
It is. It's going to be a great day because, like Des was talking about before we came in here, just a ton of storylines to keep an eye on. But it almost feels like this is the day that if you're going to be making moves, you got to do it now. Like,
this is the adjustments day. Yep. This is the day that all the teams who needed to make adjustments need to come in and actually execute on those changes, right? Because if they don't, then it's probably going to be business as usual. And for some of these teams, business as usual is just middling or bottom of the pack, right? And that's not where they want to be. It's not been great. I mean, even like looking, for instance, Yahoo, right? Or Yahoo, excuse me. They're a team that started off incredibly hot yesterday. They got, I think, 1st place with 13 kills.
Sure did.
And all the games after that, I mean, it was definitely a struggle. Oh, speaking of struggles, who is that?
Oh, no.
Who would that be? Oh.
Are we running this back?
It was a slow, painful death. Can you... Neff, come on, bro.
What are you doing, man? Get your point. You guys need every point you can. I think he's okay. His teammates shooting at him from way outside. I mean,
but what's the?
Why don't just run over him?
Actually, fairly confused right now. But that.
Okay. Well, there you go. Okay, point secured. It's done. It's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
anyways,
is kind of, no, go back. Yeah, go back to what you talked about.
I was just saying, like, I want to see what Yahoo can bring to today, right? Obviously, they needed to make a few adjustments from what happened yesterday. It happens, but they started the first week incredibly strong, right? Like, we were very impressed with Yahoo, and we knew that team would eventually hit those capabilities, and they did. So yesterday was a little bit of a struggle. I just want to see them kind of pick it up today.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at week 1, their first day 24 points. But the second and third day, 56,
second and third day were huge, and that's exactly
followed by 54.
It's exactly the trend that I'm hoping for.
Exactly.
With today and tomorrow was the point I was trying to make. Thank you for covering that, because I'm still very confused about that run over thing. I'm trying to understand. Like, there could be something I'm missing. That was a lot of 45. Oh my goodness, that house was full of 45 ammo.
Look, sometimes if you're a prepper, right, you need to get as many types of ammunition as possible.
That's true. Sonics are doing exactly this. I mean, this is such a standard Sonic play.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is a 2-2 Pachinki split Sonic circle all day long. I mean, they actually they've kind of adjusted. They've run this before, the 2-1-1, where they leave Tickleton all the way out on West just to make sure to catch all eyes on anybody who might be coming in.
So I figured out what happened. Huge shout out to Master Nook. Thank you for one of our awesome observers. So he lagged out, and his body wasn't actually apparently like where we saw it. Okay, so it makes sense. I'm sorry, that just threw me off so much. I didn't understand why.
Look, there's usually an explanation behind everything, guys. These guys are very good players, professionals even. And
Professional.
anytime you see something weird happen, there's usually a pretty good explanation for it. So glad we could get to the bottom of that one. Thank you.
Looking at this,
to Mr.
sorry,
Mark.
yeah, I took so much. Too much on that event. Anyways, the circle, as we see, is just a vanilla circle. 22 is actually set up on the East Bridge. I'm very curious if they get anything off of this, especially with like Fumba rotating off. Spicy Fish as well is going to have to deal with the infamous SCG camp. We know they love to give teams, specifically the Sonics, troubles on the West Side Bridge. We also have obviously Young Kings there at Pier, so this should be a potentially problematic cross for Fumba and Spicy Fish, but we'll see what the circle actually ends up doing to them. I imagine they'd have to rotate at some point, maybe stay late.
Yeah. I mean, the odds are they make the early rotation, right? There's no way that this cuts down. Well, I say that.
I mean, you say that.
Like, I don't want to be the guy that says there's no way that this cuts out, and then it just hard cuts south, right? And it screws everybody. But I guess if you're Spicy Fish, if you're Fumba, you can kind of hold
you just
that.
Wait.
Yeah. Hold that
just
bridge
wait like
position.
a circle. Yeah.
And then even if it does end up cutting south, then you're in a good position to keep eyes on anything that comes over. So we'll see what happens. Troglodytes, meanwhile, coming in from that northwestern side after leading up in North George. They're going to beat Tokyo Manji Gang. They're going to beat Wildcard.
Yep.
And they're going to get prio on anything around that school package. Maybe the north side of Potato Mountain. Bing Bang Boom has already kind of set up shop up there. So we'll see how far they decide to go in there. There's a few teams on the north that still have to make their way in, but this is a lot of teams centered up.
Yeah, a lot of teams already.
Where is SCG going?
SCG, yeah, that one actually kind of. They set up to maybe hold like the west side of the circle, but they are going to run into Synergy right now, who is rotating in from Corey at the moment. So that's.
Sorry, I know this isn't on the screen right now. It's something that just randomly caught my eye.
No, I did as well, because they were sitting on that west bridge, right? That's where they always sit, but they pulled very far to the west, like basically the edge of circle right now, and they're about to drive between Young Kings and Synergy. So
they're pushing outside of the circle.
They're pushing outside of the circle, yeah.
Wait a minute, are they? Do you think they're maybe thinking Primorsk boat Millie?
But I mean, for what purpose though?
I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe prepping just in case the circle cuts south, but
I mean, they had a position to hold that bridge though if they wanted to do that.
Yeah,
so this is a very interesting play from SCG.
Huh.
But we'll see what they do with it. I generally couldn't tell you what they're actually doing right now.
Well, maybe on the hunt for more Young Kings. I don't know.
Possibly, yeah. They could be looking for points. That's a valid point as well.
Could be looking for vehicles too. I mean, it looks like they're 3 deep in a UAZ. They've got one other extreme off to the north. So maybe looking for more vehicles, but
they've given up so much position for that.
Sure, a little bizarre. Well, meanwhile, you're looking at Fiumba. We were wondering if they were going to make their way over. They end up cutting north.
Yeah.
And
22 left the bridge.
Yeah, they're starting to encroach a little bit onto that ferry pier spot where 22 is kind of set up. You saw a couple of shots coming in from Hayes 10, so at least 22 knows they're there.
I'm fairly certain I know exactly what happened to SCG. I don't think they got enough loot. I think they potentially were, because they looted that 12 pack right around the bridge as well. I don't think there was enough there. Maybe they needed ammo. Maybe someone didn't have a helmet or even a vest. So that would make sense that they would go out of their way, loot Primor somewhere that they know no one is going to be, and then just come back into the circle when they actually have gear. Okay, that makes sense to me if that's what they're doing. I think that's what they're doing.
I think we've gotten to the bottom of this one, Godspeed.
I think we have.
I think we have. And hell am I bad. Gonna win the 1v1 against Pippa as Synergy getting a little bit close. He almost lost it though. I mean, you saw that 1 HP as Tokyo Manji Gang holds on to Pachinki Hill. Keep all 4 strong. They get a point in their bag.
Yep.
Keeping in mind that Sonics is just off to the north in that 2-2. No line of sight onto this, so no shots coming in, and everybody just kind of setting up shop. I'm kind of impressed with the Bing Bang Boom split. This is real big center circle, taking a lot of real shit. I don't know if impressed is the word. I don't know if impressed or maybe nervous. Look, I guess.
Yeah, there are some BBB splits where I get a little anxiety watching them, just because it is, I mean, for lack of a better term, a little greedy. But I mean, BBB is a team that loves their splits, right? We see them do it almost every single game. Sometimes it works out and it's an incredible boon to their game. Sometimes it's detrimental and they lose 1 or 2 early. We'll have to see how this one plays out. As far as Tokyo Manji Gang as well, I want to point out that week 1 they had I think 54 total points out of 15 games. Yesterday they had 43, so they almost matched their last week's performance in one day, and
it's a nice little come up.
So far, it's not a bad start, right? They got Pippa from SG. They have a good position there up on PGC Hill, and so this could trend towards again another decent point game. And if they can continue that, they can definitely break the top 8. Even potentially find themselves in a better position, all things considered, right? So I like this for Tokyo PUBG.
We'll keep an eye on it. We've been keeping an eye on this for the last couple minutes. Spicy Fish kind of slowly making their way across this bridge. They did spot out Psycho from Young Kings up by that lighthouse. Got a couple of shots in, forced them to heal up, and made their crossing. And I was also kind of keeping one eye on SCG as they were slow pushing over here after that late looting in Primorsk. So probably feeling a little bit more confident about their situation. Looks like Spicy Fish still on the move as we wait and see where this next circle decides to take us. Oh, wouldn't you know it? Okay, we're going to have the bridge still in there. Boy, that one guy in chat that's always mad about E-United getting circle shifts is going to be absolutely fuming right now as E-United falls in the farm. They're dead center. They're looking pretty good. Rich getting a little richer here.
I wouldn't be surprised if Spicy Fish went back on melee base and rotated around. In fact, it looks like that's exactly what it looks like Matt is doing. Psycho, though, he's going to see this. But what is he going to do with this information? Young Kings is going to know that there's a team that rotates back onto melee base. But meanwhile, this fight between Just Too Easy and Synergy is going off just at the double barn south of Pachinki there.
Yeah, not much of a fight.
The Pachinki Hill.
Yeah, Synergy just going to find Harita right out of the passenger seat there. So Just Too Easy down to 3, playing the cliffs as we see Sonic starting to make their moves in here.
Leaving their barns,
A lot of teams on this western side getting real close to each other, and there's a limited amount of compounds that they can go for. Sonics looks like they're going to be able to get to one just ahead of Short Circuit Gaming. So they'll be okay for now. And meanwhile, United, they're going to get some company on their north side. Looks like they're just going to go ahead and pull away, give Yoho that farm building as the southern half of this 2-2 is kind of taking some shots from Fiumba. So a lot of teams kind of fighting for a very limited amount of spots here. Oh no!
Oh, SCG!
There it is. We saw SCG. They got pushed away by Sonics off of the other compound. Immediately come into Just Too Easy. They're going to find all of them just like that. Richie B will clean it up. And can they get the reses before Dodge gets here? Look at this. Hasten actually going to spot out Dodge. One from Dodge going down. Now Tokyo Maji Gang trying to make that push across the bridge. We said we saw Spicy Fish trying to make that wrap. They expected somebody else to do the same thing, and they end up getting a little bit fed off of it, but they're going to lose Icy Flex. A lot of fights going on here. Dodge desperately wanted to try to third party this. You can see Finna has made it down, but he is kind of the only one right now. All the rest of Dodge still stuck on those cliffs, Godspeed.
Oh, but what a grenade! He actually ends up finishing 3 of SCG. That's massive. But you're right, Finna has to be a little cautious here. He's the only one down on the ground. He does have the support, though, of multiple teammates at the top of those rocks. So now that he knows he's cleared out 3, I think it's safe for him to start to push in, and we'll probably see Hackerman or someone consolidate with him to start loot. That was a crazy nade, but what a good realization on Dodge to come in and third party Zealot. Meanwhile, what Spicy Fish is out?
From downtown, Zealot will find Pat Caps and Spicy Fish, the camp. I don't know if it was an intentional camp or if it was just a timing thing.
I think it was a timing thing,
Yeah, they get over to the south side and see Tokyo Manji right behind them, think that they have an advantage on the fight. They try to stop and take it. They take 2, but Tokyo Manji Gang will win the scrap altogether, and they'll try to make their way over now as Dodge. Looks like they've got all 4 back up. Finna got 3 kills in the bag, and they've got Benya and Silzen from Synergy have kind of crept over in this area. Donnie still on the coast, or on the cliffs rather. You can see him just off in the distance there. So Synergy, I think maybe he started creeping over here to see if they could third party, but Dodge cleaned it up too fast. Good grenade work from Finna. We'll get that done and put that push on hold.
Yeah, and again, Dodge is one of those teams that we know is incredibly strong. Yesterday was kind of a wash for them, but obviously coming in today, getting some points, starting strong. And what the hell is that shift?
Oh my God. Pull it back, man. We got to see the circle. They got to know. They got to know. Young King's trying to push in.
Wait, what is that shift?
I mean, this circle
actually,
actually awful.
This is
I don't know what's going on with this.
Scufferino, bro. This is straight Scufferino.
Truly the scuffiest of circles here, as Young King somehow surviving here despite going through pretty much everybody. Psycho all by himself is going to try to take the shots at Gats, and he finds him.
He gets the flush. He did what he needed to do.
Well, yes, and Draft King will find him from behind, so he does get the 1 point at least for that wild push. So Young King's now down to 2. Dodge now under fire from Fiumba. Fiumba probably the luckiest off of this shift, as they have that shark fin compound, and they're just smiling right now. Young Kings, they got 2 alive. They got the shark. They have the actual shark fin compound.
Right.
Sorry,
but I agree. Fiumba is much happier. Yeah, Fiumba is much happier than Young Kings right now. I mean, their spot is okay. I mean, hell, with this circle shift and how weird it is, it might even end at shark fin. But the point being aside, Fiumba's split is very strong.
This is wild. Where does Sonics go? Sonics
Sonics has to fight in an edge, man.
Yeah, I mean, they're super spread out here on this western side, looking for anything really.
Yeah.
And they've managed to kind of collect everybody over by the cliffs, looking down onto Synergy, who has taken over that ferry pier spot. There might be some space to play right around there, and it looks like that's what Shrimsy's going to head towards.
They're going to take that crash up.
Yeah, that's a nice little spot that they can hold, at least for now. It's inside circle, and they can kind of take their time with dealing with this Synergy situation.
Yep, they're gonna have this, exactly what you said. They're gonna chill here. They're gonna wait for an opportunity to get a knock, or is it potentially just a window, and then they're gonna take that crash. Because realistically, that's kind of the only play that they can immediately see. Obviously, right? We have the map, and all the other edges are going to be somewhat contested. So instead of wasting time, they're just they're setting up for this, and I think that's obviously a very good decision.
Yeah, Tokyo Manjigang going to send their 2 across the bridge, so they get back to the mainland. Bing Bang Boom was in a little bit of a tough situation as well, coming in from the north. They're going to lose Oldless to 22. Some nice shots from them. Keenan Roth and Sharpshot. They've got space to work with, at least up here.
Some, yeah.
Not a lot, and it's not great, but it's survivable. It's something for the time being. 22 has that high ground, or well, a little bit of high ground here. You can see E United taking shots over towards Bing Bang Boom. Nothing really substantial hitting just yet, just kind of doing a little bit of damage. As they've got to be careful too. They've got Fiumba taking the shots back in from their south side, as Sonics starting to look a little bit more interested in pushing in here. You can see the smoke's coming down.
This is also the difference between a team like Sonics and a team that we see would generally try to avoid this edge and go rotate somewhere else, right? Like Sonics realizes they don't have a lot of time to kind of dilly-dally and go see if there's a safer edge. No, they're just going to take the fight because they know they should, and it's probably within their best interest, especially saving time, and they're going to set up for it, right? Whereas I feel like we'd see another team just kind of back off or try to find another edge without fighting and avoid conflict, and that's what sets teams like Sonics and United apart.
Well, Hayes 10 thought he could get that tower. Bing Bang Boom says we've gotten so used to E United taking that high spot that we know to look up there now.
That's true. E United, Snakers, I feel like specifically Snakers and Kick love to go up there. Yeah,
exactly, man. They're like, you can't pull that off on us anymore. We know to look there as we'll lose Hayes 10. Vinny and Haven make their way in. Dean Zera has to come in as well, but it should be okay. But that fight with Sonics and Synergy, it's going to have to come to a head here, as they've got.
And it's going to happen.
Yeah, they've got places to be. As there you go, each win will find Danny, but not without taking a bunch of damage in return. Keeping an eye on Dodge as well. They might hear this, and actually Tiggleton will be the one that keeps an eye on him, as he gets him low, but doesn't get the knock. Yeah, as you said, real rare from Tig just there. But
it's all good. He still got some good shots in there.
Oh, absolutely. Did enough to keep Dodge from pushing. So that's the primary task there.
Shrimsy now, I mean, they're going to take this beach approach, and I like it. They know Dodge is above them, potentially could have some angles, even though Tig is still kind of spotting that. But yeah, they need to take this fight now. They know they've got knock. Should be a fairly straightforward fight. But Synergy, I mean, I wouldn't count them out. They've had some really impressive fights so far this event. And so even against the Sonics, they could make something happen here.
They have indeed. And Benya, fortunately, has that hardcover of the crates to work with. Silzen was on the high hills. He's going to hear Tiggleton make his way in, so they've got at least a foothold inside the circle here as they try to spot out what's left of Synergy. And actually, long-range shots coming in from RDS 149 from Young Kings as H-Win finds the
nice knock. What an angle.
Yeah, through the fence onto Silzen. He's going to go down. Benya, well, I think he knows what's coming. He's got the DBS in hand.
DBS, yeah, we'll see what he can do. And, I mean, he can definitely do a lot here with this gun, especially these angles, right? Tight corners in these little Connex boxes. He's not even going to find one because Mime just barrels around the corner. You know what I mean?
He sure did barrel around that. As boy, I think Ben, you wishing he had that one back. That DBS was looking pretty spicy there in that situation. T8 trying to send it in to the dip a little bit late here. As Tater gets knocked, they might be able to get that res if they can get enough smokes down. I mean, we see this dip get a lot of play late game. And
it's so rough, though. It's so rough late game.
Tough.
I've been in this dip. It sucks.
Yeah,
it's not good, dude.
And you can see why. As DraftKings has just a perfect angle here with the grenades. He's going to flush Tater. He's going to get the knock onto Zenny. Doesn't look like they'll be able to get the re-knock. Yeah, he's got no more grenades in the pocket. We'll see if any of the teammates do. As the circle shifts again. Look at
it actually ends on
Shark
Fin. That's crazy.
Fin. I have not seen this in a while here. As looks like Dodge made the push out. Sonics, well, they're back to square one here. They've got a UAZ though.
They have a UAZ, and I also feel like there is a very not great ridge like on the west side of Shark Fin that they could potentially try to use as a foothold to push Young Kings, but it's not great. Sonics definitely have an uphill battle here.
It's something. It's something. We'll see.
Those shots.
Beautiful stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, gets killed Demo.
Kill Demo. No shot. He makes it in. Wow.
Almost gets Rusty Zera too. Wildcard actually going to steal that one away. So a nice, valuable point going over into the pocket of WC. As see Fiumba still just holding on. They want to make sure that T8 doesn't try to make any brazen crosses on the street here, and also keep track of pretty much everything else going on here. Roth gonna find Vinny from 22 as Sonic's on the move on the beach. They're gonna lose Shrimsy right there as Ika's gonna actually land some good shots there. Young Kings doing what they need to do here.
They're skirting this very small ridge I was talking about, and they found that's unfortunate timing. That's unlucky. I hate when that happens.
They get that res.
They get the res. It's just it's a little time wasted, but it's not a big deal. Or at least I hope it's not a big deal. Meanwhile, here comes Yahoo finally making their push now. And Fiumba, I feel like, have done so much damage, but they only had one kill. But they are just being a menace to all the other teams in the lobby currently. Kickstart, though, going to find Keenan as well up in the north. That's going to be trouble for BBB.
They are, and this is actually interesting from Yahoo. Wildcard is crashing the Fiumba 2-2 split here while Yahoo was taking shots into their backs. So, okay, see Bing Bang Boom gets eliminated by E United. I think if I'm Yahoo there, this is what I was looking for. This is what I was looking for. Yahoo reading that situation, coming in at the perfect time here. They're going to keep 4 up. They got 4 kills now. Wipe Wildcard. They still have Fiumba 2 up inside that compound. So Capitan and Emmy on the clock right now. They do have some support from off to the north.
He's going to try to get out. Yep.
Not much.
He needs to get out. He needs to get out. And Capitan, will he find it? He will. Yeah, this is big. I mean, I wonder if they even try to consolidate further, if they try to hold the split, because they were able to kill Wildcard, right? With a little bit of help from Fiumba, or excuse me, from Yahoo, yes. But look at this dodge.
Tiggleton got the knock on the flood. This is going on outside the north side of the circle. Remember, Sonics is at the bottom of Shark Fin. And Tig is landing those. Absolutely nuts. All right, so Snakers and Rello now the last 2 up for E United, trying to fight their way in through Trogloditas, through Dodge, through all the smoke. And they actually kind of lost track of Necro here. Necro right behind him. We'll have to see if he can maybe find that. As TAC 8 going to get eliminated. As a number of teams actually scrapping here. I think.
Oh my God! It's a Shark Fin ending. That's crazy. It's an actual
Shark Fin ending. Beautiful.
I said that earlier in the map, like not thinking it would actually end at Shark Fin. I was like, oh, it could go to Shark Fin with Young Kings there.
It's a great call from Sonics to go for that tip, though, isn't it? I mean, they could have at any point decided to, we've got 4 up. Let's crash Young Kings. Well, instead of doing that, they just decided to go ahead and play the tip and just let Young Kings kind of do their thing. United does go out, so that's our lobby leader done. As Yahoo, how many they still have? Okay, they lost 2 on whatever the most recent crash was there.
The Tokyo Manji game came behind them. Yep, TMG came behind. I think they got a knock or 2 with the assistance of Fiumba, and then they were able to kind of at least get a few points. And even then, speaking of TMG, like that's another decent salvage game, right? With what happened at the beginning of the round with Spicy Fish, they were able to get a couple kills. And they even came in and took 2 off Yahoo off the back of their push on that compound that Wildcard also tried to take from Fiumba. So overall, I mean, good play from them. Yahoo finally making it again into another endgame, which is big in this top 4. They needed that. So, excuse me, top 5.
That's huge, and looks like Sonic's actually going to make the moves now into Young King.
Yeah, and this was free for them. They they knew.
I mean, there's I mean, why not? Because we'll drop the Molotov just to kind of slow things down a little bit while he goes there. Yaho, meanwhile, is in vehicles making the long wrap around to this south side. They might actually take the spot that Sonic's just left, or do they crash the compound itself?
Yaho actually on the other side, very smart.
Yep, there you go. That's let's see, Fiumba, you can see them in the background. They're laying down the smoke wall. They know they got to get on the move. Nobody's been able to get rid of Rusty Zera just yet. He's got a little bit of a shack to hide in. So it's mostly people just repositioning right now. We'll see if Fiumba can get everybody into the They look like they're just going to send it. They're sending it right into Young Kings.
And they kind of had to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like this is a game-winning play. Instead of like trying to just take their time around, they're like, you know what, we're going to take this compound, we're going to take the fight. I'm curious if they even know.
Ribo.
Oh, nice shot. I'm curious if they even know that Young Kings is a two-man, but they are going to find one onto Sparking. Ribo's going to find that knock quite easily. And it's just Balefrost now sitting behind this hill. He's still got I mean, he still has time. He doesn't have to come in. But if he wants to get that res, he's going to try to, I guess, use a smoke wall, especially if he gets that building that Sparking's on. That's actually pretty huge for them.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, for Bale, I mean, there's no way they know about Sonics, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Sonics has been kind of playing that shark fin tip for quite some time, so
they have an idea of them being from an area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous saving Private Sparking mission here, and Balefrost's going to try to send it. He's going to send and put Bill about an inch away from his life, as RDS is just waiting, listening for those footsteps, waiting for that push from him. Oh my God!
What
Emmy.
a grenade!
Absolutely beautiful stuff from
Oh,
Emmy.
that bounce, man, that was perfect.
And he gets him right before Mime can get there, as it looks like Sonics was on the push, realizing the situation here, but Emmy gonna do it himself. Has 7 kills now for Fiumba. They've got 4 up. New circle has popped, and it's on the tip for sure. Rusty Zera's got to make moves. He's the last one. He might have a shot here if unfortunately, and Sonics has nothing else to look at. Everybody's looking out in that direction, actually. So Rusty, good luck, buddy. Actually, it's gonna be Tig that gets him.
I wanted to believe, man, so hard, but I couldn't. Now Sonics are taking shots at Young Kings up at the 2nd floor, and I mean, what an adjustment!
Sonics,
what an adjustment from Sonics, though, coming off that west edge and then realizing that they could play this kind of southwestern. Oh, there's a crate there too, in case they wanted that.
Yeah, just in case.
But yeah, just playing this like southwest edge of Sharkfin. I mean, to now having the best position on the map.
I mean, they're in a great spot, no doubt about it. But
I'm not saying they've won already, but
that's why. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say that this feels like an easy Sonics win by any means, because you do still have a 4-strong field, but you do have Young Kings that are still up there. At some point, these guys are going to start running out of utility.
The thing, though, is that Young Kings and Fiumba most likely will have to fight first, and the issue for them is Sonics does have incredible sightlines onto that fight, right? So they can basically dictate how this one goes. If Fiumba tries to pull off and maybe wrap to the west, get around that one story, there's 2 members of Sonics there to watch, right? It's really Young Kings kind of... I kind of want Fiumba to take initiative here and just try to clear this, because the more time they spend, the less time they're actually going to have to deal with the Sonics eventually. The problem is I don't know if they know all the information, right? Like, do they know it's a duo up top? Maybe it's 3. Maybe it's a duo where Sonics are currently, you know what I mean? It's Killfeed can only tell you so much.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like, if you're Fiumba, you're like, okay, we're 4 strong, right? We know that there's X number of
at least 1 or 2. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. If we push and we push blind and we take a knock or 2 because we just are pushing into an unknown situation, then that Sonics is just sitting there waiting.
It's a tough call to make, man.
You know, so
it's a tough call, but
I don't fault them for kind of sitting here and waiting this one out and see what happens next. But
I feel like if they really want to take control of this endgame, they need to clear this building out, because at the very least it's immediately on their side of the road, right? Sonics is not, at least right now, going to push over for any reason unless there's a multitude of knocks.
Well, yeah, I mean, Sonics isn't going to move. Oh, no.
If he can jump, come on, jump crouch. You can do it. It's still a mechanic. There it is.
Oh, RDS.
Oh, yeah. I mean, good stuff.
I mean,
but again, this is the problem.
Molotov right there, and somehow Fiumba did not spot it and did not realize. I mean, that's just asking to get killed there. I mean,
the longer they wait, the more time they give Young Kings angles or ways to try to get knocks, right?
Yeah.
Instead of using their numbers, DraftKings almost went down to the molly there. And
if he goes down there, that might ring the dinner bell for Sonics.
Oh man, that might be a really detrimental flash. He's gonna drop down there, absolutely flashed, and they're gonna come down together. Sonics, watch for Sonics to make the push. He's gonna find one. They don't get both, but that knock is huge. Sonics can come around the corner now.
There's 2 knocks. 2 knocks as Mime found Rybo with the grenade, and yep, this is just setting up perfectly here. I don't know if Sonics knows where the rest of these guys are, but they're just gonna keep throwing the nades in, trying to flush out Rybo as they run around the outside of the compound here, cleaning things up, as this is looking like a really nice setup for Sonics. And okay, they're gonna push off. They flushed the 1 knock that they had, but now they don't have the information.
That's fine. They're playing numbers. It's a 3-on-2 now. They realize it's 3-on-2. They know that. And now I would say this is starting to look very, very open and shut for Sonics.
It's feeling that way. But either way, regardless, 9 kills for Fiumba. Still kind of...
They can pull it out. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying this is looking very strong for Sonics.
Just, you know, don't give them 1v1s, essentially. I mean, they've got Mime working anchor here. And Tig and H-Win just kind of on the roofs. You worry about the roof guys. Looks like Capitan managed to get out of the compound at least. And get maybe a little bit of a different angle here as he's trying to spot out if he could see anybody.
He's trying to see in the windows, yeah.
Yeah, and nothing. Oh, Capitan might be. Yeah, I think he spotted Tig there. Took a few shots, didn't land. He's going to give up his position, though, as now Mime doing what Mime does, man. He loves these 1v1 situations. So much confidence.
Seen him clutch quite a few times before, but I mean, he doesn't even really need to, right? He can just play the spoiler position right up against the building. He knows that Hwin and Tig are both behind him with the high ground, and so he's just playing spoiler. This is, I mean, this is textbook from Sonics. Capitan is, I mean, he's just gonna die to blue, I guess.
Yeah, it looks like it. They're gonna kill each other. All right, Fiumba. A little bit of an anticlimactic finish there, but Sonics get their first win of the day. Can they get some more here? Trying to catch up to E United as E United goes down a little bit early. So great game there from Sonics. A fantastic call to go for that shark fin.
That was a really heads up call there. Obviously, it was kind of a last minute thing, especially with the circle going. But I mean, they made it work. Man, that shift is so crazy considering, because I don't think we've seen something end at Sharpin in a long time.
It's been a very long while, and I mean, I think the shift has to be, the circle has to be the star of the game there.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Just because of how many weird engagements it kind of led to. So exciting there in game number 1. Well, we are going to take a quick break and come back to the analyst desk to talk about what we saw in game number 1. But before we do, I want to tell you about the new map, Destin Kane. It's the latest 8x8 map, the end of the rotation, featuring new vehicles, items, and weapons. Hop on with your squad to check out the diverse biomes like the skyscraper pack downtown Ripton, or my personal favorite, the concert venue, although Swamp starting to come around on it. I'm not gonna lie.
That makes sense. You're from Louisiana, right? So.
It does. It makes a little bit of sense. You start feeling a little bit at home. You just need more circle stand up there. That's all. But we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, the analyst desk will talk about game number 1.
Man, I know it's been a hot summer, but we do not need as much water as we got in that last game. E United goes down early, as well as most of the lobby, and 2 through 7 managed to pick up a ton of kills, so I guess Sonic's on the climb. E United's got to be nervous. Okay, where do we even want to start? Let's just kick it off. Cam, circle stuff, yeah. Shark fin, Sonic's, infights, take your pick.
Hey, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, but first and foremost, E United, they had a good run there. They actually were gifted the shift in the very early through the mid game, which doesn't happen all that much. So I was curious to see how they would be able to hold off. They actually held that edge pretty well, all things considered. But you can't expect so many different teams to really crash into that central zone that the Fiumba had most control over. I know Young Kings was in there, but only 2 people sharing 2 barns. That's not really a lot of control. Once we saw what happened when Sonics just, like, I don't know, looked in their direction, they folded, but...
Well, we've got to look in the direction of some highlights to figure out what's going on with that circle and how we ended up on Shark Fin.
The big thing too about that shark fin start is that some teams had a creative idea about how to rotate with that crazy circle, one of which was this awkward bridge camp that happened between Spicy Fish and TMG. Spicy Fish was in their spot for the first 7 minutes before they even decided to bridge camp, ran into Young Kings early, kind of pulled back from this, tried to catch off TMG, and it did not go well in their favor. They were able to pick off 2 members, but it came, unfortunately, the loss of the whole team for Spicy Fish. You can see Pat Caps, Moody, Simply Matt, they were trying to pull something from this, but it wasn't meant to be. You can see there's Juarez falling down, but ultimately, and look there right on the map, there's the shift. Zealot, hella my bad setup now for that late spot, and that shift also really helped situations like Sonics that kind of got forced to play the edge, but then ultimately set them up for, I think, a prime position.
Yeah. This was a really good push by them, even before the point that this clip started on, is taking out Danny there on the south side. Synergy had that 3-person belt split that was incredibly strong in order of crossfires and angles, but the second that it was Atwin that took him out, it opened up the path for Sonics to wrap under the beach, get in front of Synergy, and then just take them out decisively from there. Then, of course, the rotate throughout the rest of the game. We all saw what happened there, but really it was just taking that first kill, getting a huge advantage off of 1 knock, 1 elimination is what I wanted to highlight.
Well, Sonics tied up with Fiumba based off of kills. Fiumba finding themselves a lot more violence in that game, and I know we talk about the Fiumba players a lot and their capabilities of what they can bring out. How close does this put our leaderboard as, 18-point differential up at the top now as Sonics is on the chase. Yoho also has to be pretty careful as Fiumba is on the climb back behind them, as well as Dodge Young Kings. We're starting to get some separation, about 10 to 15 points out between a lot of the left side of the leaderboard, Clover.
Yeah, and, for a moment that match, too, Dodge was also really popping off. I believe they got 7 kills, and they were starting to get in a decent position until, again, those shifts that kept going closer and closer to Sharkfin kind of bit them in the butt, no pun intended. And for Fiumba, I mean, to see right now leading that game in damage, they pretty much led it in most stats. It was their game to lose, and unfortunately, that's exactly what happened. 5 points was between them and Dodge in the mid part of the game, and then they were able to retake control. So every little bit that they need to put forward to hold that 4th place for those PGC points, they're really putting the work in right now.
And there's a lot to be said for Latin America, good positioning for Fiumba and having the capabilities to really move into that position. It's a interesting game to kick everything off at the start, though, Cam, is it almost feels like whoever could handle the chaos best was rewarded most in that circle.
Kind of. We do have to. I mean, Fiumba didn't have to handle much at all, to be honest. Young Kings also with the send in the early game. It was the teams around them seeing what they could get is what you're alluding to, I believe.
Well, we are moving into game. We've got ourselves Oro and Godspeed. Great job on handling that last game. And the I guess, interesting nature. I mean, we were all talking on the desk about how it was a flashback to the early days of PUBG with that much water and a beach ending.
Yeah, I mean,
it's been a while.
It has been a while, but those were very common in 2018. You saw a lot of beach endings. I remember a lot of Primorsk endings. It would always end for some damn reason at Prim on the beach. That was actually, those were the worst. And it was
shout out to Atero.
And it was common. Yeah. Oh yeah.
About the fact that
what was it? What was the old totality meme? What we called them, submarines or something?
Yeah, submarines and mermaids.
Yeah. Whatever it was. Regardless, that was a throwback for sure. But the way Sonics played that overall was very impressive. The amount of damage, I think it called it halfway through the match. Like Fiumbo only had 1 kill going into like phase 5, but they had farmed so much damage, you just couldn't finish any kills. So the fact that they ended with 9 or 10 was pretty big.
Oh man, you want to talk about that's kind of been a trend for Fiumba, if we're being honest.
Are we being honest?
I'm being honest. Okay. You want to talk about a team that has just
What, bro? Not even.
Okay.
You are kidding right now.
Sure, why not? Let's run it back.
Oh my goodness.
Just going back to just real quick what we were talking
The
about.
Fiumba point. Yeah, sorry, I
Fiumba.
distracted you.
They've stolen 7 kills. They've had 22 kills stolen away from them.
They're not kill stealers, man. You know, they like to play by the rules.
They are very much minus in that category right now. Whereas you look at
They're just
United,
an honest team, you know?
United 17-17, Yahoo 12-9. I think Sonics is 11-12, so they've lost 1 more than they've stolen. 7-22, like that is just nuts.
Yeah, I mean,
But they've also been getting a lot of circle favor too.
I mean, there is an odd satisfaction in stealing a kill though and getting that point.
People wouldn't know about it.
They wouldn't know about it, but I mean,
don't know
when
that
you get
feeling.
like, when I'm telling you, Pora, when you're looking downfield and like someone gets shot out of a car and you pick out 2 free points, it feels good. It feels really good, man.
You get
As
that little
annoying as
smile
it
on
is to
your
get
face.
it stolen from you, it feels great.
Oh boy. Well, we did see that military island circle pop, so of course our eyes have to go to Short Circuit Gaming to see what it is they're going to try to do this time.
And so,
it looks like they're not actually going to do the bridge camp thing.
I was gonna say of all the circles to actually like take bridge control, this one is pretty much catered to them. And so the fact that they decided not to do that, the fact that they decided to just go straight up on the island and get an early foothold, first of all, to me is a good decision just based off of their points right now, and I think that's exactly why they did it. And second off, I feel like they can still get a good amount of points even if they potentially camp this compound underneath a bridge or just get a better position onto the island as a circle post, which is, again, I think this is a good decision from SCG.
Yeah, I wonder how much of that the decision making might be made.
The points.
Well, the points and the fact that the last time they camped the bridge, they
Mime ran them down with nothing.
Well, no, it was in this tournament, and Sonics kind of took issue with it. He was like, "Hey, you know, we're at the bottom of the leaderboard. Why? Let's camp the bridge." Like Sonics wasn't too happy about.
I do remember
that. I think it was maybe H-Win in particular, but they weren't too happy. They weren't too pleased by the fact that that somebody was camping bridge on a little bit lower on the leaderboard. But that's it's part of the game. Whatever, you're gonna get mad about it, you move on, and it looks like SCG they're just gonna go ahead and play that compound. I was actually looking to see because the way they did it last time was they all kind of went to that compound and then they kind of spread out from that compound and started playing just around the bottom of the bridge and started creeping out. But it looks like they're just gonna go ahead.
They're just gonna sit,
and sit. But Sonics, it's still repercussions from those camps because Sonics is taking their time. Kind of making their way over here as they've kind of been forced to do because of these SCG camps, and as a result, Synergy is now starting to kind of creep down there before Sonics has made their way across the bridge.
It doesn't surprise me at all that Sonics at this point, anytime SCG or really anyone is in a lobby at this point, will be a little more cautious around the bridge, right? I mean, it's a symptom of getting camped by SCG multiple times, but in the end of the day, it adds good scouting practices. I guess you're a little more aware of those positions.
Sure. Absolutely, and so you don't see it on your minimap just yet, but Synergy kind of right around that gas station area, just to the north of there, and then 22 is also over there in the ferry pier, just off to the west. So everybody's just kind of taking their time with this, and this could also be just where they decide to set up for now before making their way over to Millie, because oh man, God knows.
I mean, this could do some really weird stuff. If anything, it may not look like it, but I think even like the north side might technically have more land ratio. There's just a lot of water. There's a lot of water in the circle. This could easily pull up just as much as it could pull down a melee base, right? So I think the teams that are setting up around the bridge, SCG, obviously Sonics, SG, even 22, they're just waiting to see what the circle does. Is it going to shift? Is it going to get off? BBB actually was able to cross the East Bridge for free, which means that if it does shift off, they have that rotation route back if they want it. And then we see Fumba actually just sending it in a boat, all four. So they're committing to the island. And some teams are, and I don't think that's a poor play. I mean, this technically should shift south, but
you never know. I mean,
you never know.
You hope it does, but you never know, as you said. And it looks like Sonics finally do make their way across. There's that Fumba rotation that we're seeing now. Spicy Fish
they're here to receive.
Yeah, they're set up on these cliffs now. Moody, the only one really on top of this particular cliff, and he's the only one that's going to hear this. He might be calling over the rest of the boys for some backup. Yeah, you can see it on your
vehicles.
The vehicles on the way over. So Moody,
and I like this.
Can he slow them down enough to where the rest of the team can arrive before Fiumba gets all the way up to the top? Doesn't look like they will. But Moody is right up top.
He's going to find one.
He's going to open. Oh, there you go. Finds one. Can he get two? Yeah, he can. Moody. Is that the real Moody? He's back in action. 2 immediate knocks, instant knocks. Emmy and Capitan now working that cliffside. They'll get Simply Matt a little bit low here. Packap's coming from the other side will help flush out that kill. You'll find Emmy takes a few shots, doesn't get the knocks just yet. Emmy and Capitan.
Emmy's in a world of trouble. Done. What a pinch. That was actually gorgeous. Gorgeous play.
Clean from Spicy Fish, and they'll be able to get the res on Icy Flex.
And it was on the back of Moody. Moody was the forward position there. He was the forward. He was the tip of the spear, if you will, Poro.
The tip of the spear.
Those two I mean, that first knock was given, right? That was a free knock, essentially. But the second one was the one that won them that fight. That was huge from Moody.
Real clean stuff from Moody. And Spicy Fish, I mean, they definitely could use the points. Down there in 13th place, but they mean good performance here. They could climb up, put themselves in a nice little spot, try to get a few more PGC points before the weekend's done. Tokyo Manji Gang will send a couple into the hills. They've got one trailing. This is Hello My Bad. We'll get there eventually. Just Too Easy just off to their north as well. Pretty much everybody starting to make their way in, although Godspeed, this Eastern Bridge,
it's a mess.
Troglodytes and Wildcard.
It is an absolute mess, and I didn't expect the East Bridge to actually be this contested. I thought teams would kind of just pass over, but no. Wildcard and Trog are very much intertwined. There's an entanglement, if you will.
An entanglement. We all know entanglements.
Those pesky entanglements, yeah.
Yeah, super pesky. Definitely want to be avoided at all costs. Just make you want to slap somebody when you find yourself in some.
It really does.
We're topical humorists. Topical esports humorists.
We're up to date with current events that happened months ago.
And keep in mind, T8 is just off to the west here, and E United. I'm assuming E United is just going to go for the botation off the south tip of that Milta kind of peninsula there.
Most likely, yeah.
No shots being heard, so there's no reason for them to creep over in this direction.
I actually like this from Trog as well. Instead of like taking shots, or they're actually they're hoping Wildcard just kind of goes away, right? Like go rotate, get on the island so that we can kind of come in, do our thing, either backfill or just get a better position instead of like shooting Wildcard, keeping them there, and then essentially just trapping themselves there at the same time.
Well, you say that, and right as soon as you say it,
I know.
They open up onto Nikos, and now Troglodytes is eating blue damage, and Wildcard knows that they're there, and here you go, United.
Yeah, they can just camp the other side if they want.
Yep. So now Trog has some decision making as the United will come in late and take a little bit of blue damage here, but they probably have plenty of meds. We'll see. What is the circle? Okay, all right. Could have been way worse. Could have been way worse.
It could have been. It still can be worse.
I mean, that north, the north side of the West Bridge, that is.
I'll never forget, by the way, the MPL circle, the very first day of Phase 2, when the circle ended like on the center bridge. It was like on the West Bridge. It ended
God, yeah.
Do you remember that? It was.
I do. That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, but it was probably one of the most scuffed circles I've played, and this is it's giving me vibes of it. It's giving me vibes of it.
We'll have to see if it. hopefully we don't have to deal with that. Or, well, hopefully we do have to deal with that. It'd be hilarious, but
yeah, but I doubt we'll deal with that.
I don't think we will.
And so Synergy actually made it across.
Anyway,
Synergy made it across with 3 different teams around that bridge, which is kind of nuts, actually, all things considered.
They just sent it. They sent it, and nobody was really in a position to do anything about it. So Bing Bang Boom, meanwhile, in military base, getting caught up with Young Kings, get the opening knock on An1. Psycho and Ikuz just off in the distance, laying down the smoke wall, trying to prevent the push, or at least slow down the push. Is RDS going to leave? Sharp Shot, seeing that, immediately hops into his vehicle. So going to be interesting to see what the response is from both.
There's a split again from BBB Poro. I mean, again, it's either going to work out really well for them, or there's a potential that they lose 2. But
no.
Speaking of losing 2, that's going to be 2 down immediately for Just Too Easy. As Sonics is also behind, taking shots as SG as they kept. That West Bridge is a nightmare. An actual nightmare.
It all opened up eventually. Silzen gets 2 right off the pop, and Harita will get through for now. But where do you go? Kalnick's still stuck on the bridge, but Synergy can't really focus on him because they're getting shot in the backs by Sonics, as you mentioned. No flush coming through just yet, so they may be able to get the res. It looks like Kalnick's has spotted out 1. It's just trying to stay alive here. Just keep that smoke going. And now Bing Bang Boom, they're getting pushed as well. I think that was that one might have been our other member, rather, of Just Too Easy. Harita. Ooh, careful, Roth.
Yeah, Roth has done a good job, though, using that molly to contain him. Harita is now down, and that's a free kill. That was very well played by Roth. Good hold.
Could have been real scary. It was scary.
I mean, if Warita goes up, if Warita goes up and knocks Roth, that compound is now potentially just kind of screwed, right? Because he can then flush Roth, play Ring Around the Rosie on the top side. That split has to be consolidated from BBB, and it just causes problems. So very nice by Roth.
Well, now we'll see what Kalnick decides to do. He's the last player up for J2E. He's got to be careful about short circuit gaming as well. I'm not sure if he even knows, and actually now Tokyo Manji Gang has made their way onto these bridge scaffolding. We're starting to see these get a lot more play lately, man.
And they were so necessary. I really wish these were a thing when I was playing. I mean,
they're awesome.
They actually give teams that have either no vehicles or only 1 vehicle the potential to work this on foot. Tokyo Manji Gang is actually kind of chilling right now, right? They're being chilling on the bridge. Even with the circle shift, they can kind of use these scaffoldings on the sides to start to push up and potentially try to crack some of these teams that are underneath. So, and they're still going to be okay on the bridge now. So I really like these new additions to the bridges on both sides.
Love seeing them. And now we finally fully commit to Military Island. 22 will have to make their way over. I'm wondering. I don't think anybody else would have taken any boats from Ferry Pier, so they may still have boats over there. We'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I think they might have a boat. I think they were at Ferry Pier pretty much this entire time.
I think so too. And United finally made their way across. They actually find 3 vehicles as well, so getting a little bit of Sonic's Game 5 of yesterday luck as they make that boat across. It's not the same, but
they targeted that East Coast, right? So they knew there would probably be vehicles on the south side, and it was a smart rotation from United. I feel like I say smart rotation to United all the time, but it's obviously very well thought out. They got the vehicles they needed, and now they're working the south side of the island. From here, though, it does get a little tough. I mean, there are granted some areas that United can kind of play from, but Spicy Fish has a really wide split on that south side, kind of holding all that area. So
give them 2 boats. Actually, 22 got 3 in 1, and they've got Haven in another. But unfortunately for them, Sonics have nothing better to look at right now than this 22 boat crossing. The shots are coming through. No knocks come out just yet, but Sonics, okay, all right. They actually survive it. Good on 22 here. They barely. Oh my goodness, Haven. He was the trail man here, but they get to the beach. They get a little foothold here, and that's good news for 22. Maybe a little bit bad news for Sonics here, as they now have to worry about their coastline.
Yeah, but I feel like they can contain 22. They just have to be careful of the west wrap. I think if they push straight up towards the duo that's at the compound, I think it's Mime. I didn't see who else. But meanwhile, United now making this push on the Spicy Fish. They have been controlling the southern ridge for quite a while, but these ridges also do lend quite a bit of...
Flex.
Yeah, I see him all the way off on the side, but these ridges do give the team that's coming up a decent amount of cover. But now Kalanik's the last member. Oh no, does he get? Oh, I was gonna say.
Goodness. Oh my goodness, that grenade looked like it might be devastating, but there's just too much stuff around there, unfortunately. They 2 for Tokyo Manji Gang do go down. Looks like they should be able to get those reses, but we're cutting back to E United now as they're getting spotted by Moody. Nice shots again from the Spicy Fish veteran, as Spicy Fish are now trying to hold off this push. Kickstart getting knocked low. You can see he's getting back, shot in the back as well by Ice Tech. Flood will trade that out for himself, though. It looks like he's going to be able to get that flush. Now Sakers Flood the last 2 remaining.
And Trog, I think, is also taking shots from planes all the way onto this fight. So this is a really rough battle for both teams. Third parties coming in from both sides. Kill Demo's actually get a flush kick.
Oh no, so many fights going on right now. It looks like 22 and Sonics, they finally squared up as we've got that going on. We've got the fight on the bridge going on between Tokyo Manji Gang and Synergy. As E United look like they're slowing things down just a bit. You can see Flood just avoiding the line of sight from Troglodytes. Meanwhile, in the picture-in-picture, Synergy just pushing through. They've managed to collect a couple of kills for themselves. I think Tokyo Manji Gang might be down to just 2 now.
one or two, yeah.
Yeah, I think one's not even on the bridge with them, as Silzen trying to trade back. We saw Silzen get a couple of kills earlier with that that little bridge camp here. Is
Colton made it to that compound with SCG, by the way. I just want to point that out. I don't know how the hell he did that, but he's literally in the he's in the furthest building away from the bridge.
He sure is.
Also, I want to point out that SG did a beautiful push here. Instead of waiting for Tokyo Manji to come to them, they cleared their bridge behind them, the best of their capabilities, right? And they were able to. I like that proactivity, man. SG has been really solid. That pump shotgun has no business getting a knock from that distance, though.
Oh my goodness, I think he wouldn't have got him unless Haven had just gotten rezzed. And now he's going to try to see if he can take the fight over back towards Vinny. He's got the pumpy in hand, waiting for it. Gets him before he can go prone. Shrimsy with that pump. We got quite a few Shrimsy pump shotgun highlights this week.
We do indeed. This man won a game with a pump, if I'm not mistaken. So
you are not mistaken at all. Okay, SCG. Meanwhile, Wada's gonna spot out Extreme. As he said, Colton has made his way in. Wada's actually surviving the push from Synergy. So Tokyo Manji Gang still with 2 up, but they've got to make their way in now. Synergy vying for the same spot that SCG is holding, as Nepahor will open up. He gets a lot of damage in, but can't get the knock, and immediately gets traded down. Silzen on fire right now.
Yeah. Silzen is going in huge right now for SG, and I mean, he has been for any team he's ever played with, right? He's so solid. Meanwhile, United in the picture-in-picture, having to deal with a full team of Spicy Fish on his own. He does get lit up quite bad, but I think that's going to be cleaned up by Pat, and it sure is.
There you go. E United going out very early, no kills. Another 0-point game for E United. They've had quite a few of them, but fortunately for them and for E United fans, they've had many more that were double-digit bangers. So things holding strong right now for E United. We'll see if Sonics can try to continue their climb. They're down to 3, but they are just farming damage here on Juarez. Tiggleton, yep, he'll get the last shot in, and that will be it for Tokyo Manji Gang.
This is where it starts to get a little scary for United, right? They've already been eliminated. This is the second game they didn't really get any points, and not only did Sonics win the first game, but they're doing quite well in this game as well. Even though they're on the west side and their position isn't great, they have high ground. They'll be able to, at the very least, see the circle. And I believe they have at least 1 vehicle, so they can make some sort of play. But it's still rough. The point remains, though, that they're still getting points while United is going out.
Yep. And Yahoo as well. 4 up.
Yeah, and Yahoo as well, for that matter. Yeah.
So they can maybe start turning things on a bit. I mean, we mentioned it even at the beginning of the week, though. Sonics, throughout this year and throughout the last couple of years, actually, very, very good in not just final weekends, but final days in particular. The last days of the tournament, they are consistently putting up 40+. So. Hoping that Sonics will maybe slow down is a roadmap to disaster as we see them try to make the push here. They're going to try to push up in the spot where Synergy is already there.
This is a game-winning play.
So Benya is going to find 2 immediately. Mine will keep things going. Can Mine get it?
No way.
Mine one more. No way. Benya will get him. Benya clutching things out with the SLR.
Benya has been, I think you said it on our first cast. I think we talked about it throughout the weekend. Benya has been absolutely wonderful for this team. The problem now is, Gats!
Benya gonna find him
gets
again.
Gats too! Oh my goodness.
Dodge, they had to make this push. They knew exactly what was going on, and they tried to send just Gats.
Benya's the Terminator right now, man.
Done. Benya just making moves here. 8 kills for Synergy, and he's going to get at least one of these reses. Hikerman now starting to slowly get back up here. We'll see
if they can get a Pippa, I mean, this is the position
huge.
Sonic went for, because this is essentially the game-winning position, right? If this shift gets away from the actual military base itself, this is where you want to be.
Well, that might be a good grenade. Goes through the smoke. I'm not sure where Hikerman is. Will at least flush Gats, and
he's going to get another one. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Res as Dodge. The push has been slowed by the appearance of Yahoo. Dodge now down to just Ethan and Hikerman, 2 dangerous players in their own right. The jump peak scout. They
Sparking and Hikerman midair just gave each other a high five.
They sure did. As Hikerman, okay, a little bit of grenade damage there, and will Synergy actually get involved in this? That is the question. This would be a beautiful time for them to try to third party onto Yahoo. Instead, they're kind of spotting out things off to the south. Meanwhile, Young Kings will get eliminated. Spicy Fish, I think, down to just Icy Flex as they're trying to make their way up from the south, and Troglodytes making short work of them. Silton goes down again. Poonage.
I'm very curious if SG will push out here and try to clear this fight between Dodge and Yahoo.
They keep taking knocks.
They do keep getting knocked from. Where did Poon even? Oh, he just knocked him from straight ahead. Okay, so
yeah.
The longer this fight goes, BBB, that's actually huge. BBB getting that knock, and now both teams from the north have to push in down to the south.
Ethan, Balefrost gets him so close, but can't land the last shot and pulls away. Sparking taking a lot of damage here as well, and now you can see Synergy. They're down to, are they down to 2? I can't actually tell. It looks like they might be.
I think they 3, I thought. Oh no, maybe you're right.
And Benya actually, yeah, there you go. I think
they are down to 2. Yeah.
Silza got flushed. So Benya gets the opening knock onto Sparking here. Benya, God, he's 400 damage now.
He's so hot right now.
He's popping off. He got a little bit of, I mean, between him and Silzen, man, they were getting things done. Is Sparking going to just get out of the Molotov here as Dodge? For their part, Ethan and Hikerman, this fight with Yahoo, they've just gone prone. They've just gone prone and slowed things down.
They're as a 2-man, on top of the fact knowing that there's a team holding them at edge, on top of the fact that there's a team with them on the edge, you know, like, and they know it's Yahoo, right? I mean, they don't have the best options. Going prone is going to work for the time being, right? They're going to survive for a second here, but they still have to get in circle. And so what I think they're hoping for is that Yahoo goes in, fights Synergy, and then they can come in and backfill. I just don't think Yahoo is going to give them that opportunity.
I don't think they can. I think Yahoo knows that they need to clean up their backside first. And Ethan and Hikerman slowing down
ideally.
Well, yeah, ideally. And well, now Yahoo's kind of taking shots from Bing Bang Boom as well.
They knocked SG though. They knocked one of SG, which gives them this kind of momentum to push forward. But now this is exactly what Dodge was waiting for.
Sure were. And there you go. Synergy going to go down quickly, maybe a little bit too quickly for Dodge here, as they are going to find Sparking. They're going to find Shinboy actually using the smokes and the rocks and the trees. Ethan will go down. It's down to just Hikerman. 7 kills for Dodge. Can they turn it around? Poonage goes down.
Oh, what an attempt.
Balefrost saves it, and he should be able to
get
this
this
right.
BBB.
Bing, bing, boom. They read the kill feed. They know the situation. Balefrost trying to hold it on as long as he can, as Bing Bang Boom going to go up there and try to clean it up. Balefrost will find Keenan. Oldless now all by himself up here. He's going to have to stop down to go for the res, as he does get a little bit of support here from Sharpshot.
Nice situational awareness there. Bing Bang Boom was so ready for that fight to pop off because they had to rotate off.
Look at Bing Bang Boom in the first half of the day.
Very nice.
Good to see him here. We got 4 kills for themselves, and they got the nice spot in this circle too.
Yep. I'm telling you, if this circle shifts north, I mean, that's the game-winning position. If it shifts south, yeah, it'll be annoying because they have to come down and potentially play the wall. But overall, I really like this initiative that was taken from BBB. Also, like, shout out to Yahoo, by the way. They tried, man. They really tried.
Tough.
But that duo of Ethan and Hikerman was also very impressive. I mean, that whole Northside fight was just, it was impressive player after impressive player after impressive player. It was first it was Benya, then it was Sparking, and then the rest of Yahoo. Then it was the duo of Ethan and Hikerman. Before that was Silzen with. I mean, it was just, that was a lot of good plays that happened on that hill.
It really was. I mean, it's just it's super tough spot for Yahoo to be in. You know, they got the knock on the Synergy, and they were just like, you know what, we're just sitting here messing around with Dodge and Synergy. We got the knock, let's push on to 1 at least. They try to go for the push, and immediately Dodge, as you said, reading that perfectly, and instant 2 knocks on Yahoo. And then credit again to Bing Bang Boom, keeping an eye on that situation, reading the kill feed, knowing what they were pushing into, and immediately before
the punish
Balefrost
was
could
swift.
get anything turned around, they push in. So kudos to them, as now Bing Bang Boom, as you said,
This is just a 4v4v4, bro.
yeah, I mean, the circle kind of working out in Bing Bang Boom's favor here, at least for now. They get to hold on to this high ground. They spotted out Troglodytas, take a few shots there, kill Demo, get him knocked a little bit low. Wild card working from the garages.
And there's some nasty angles that these guys are getting here. They have so much information in high ground, right? This hill necessarily still isn't in, but even Roth has a little bit of a foothold, and if they really want to, they can play that wall.
And they got a ton of vehicles up there.
And
as well.
they do have some vehicles at their disposal, absolutely. So this is looking pretty decent still for BBB.
Not too shabby just yet, anyway. They're actually going to hop in those vehicles, as Trog will do the same and try to go in, get a little bit closer to that wall, join up with Necro. Wildcard will take a few shots over in that direction. Sharp shot. It's a nice little spot here down by Roth, a little ridge line to work with.
The vehicle is going to be safe too, which is more important.
Absolutely. Wildcard, they're probably in the rougher of the positions right now. As you see, they just kind of taking shots or being sent down to him. Necro gets spotted out, so that's most likely Trog down to 3. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to get that res, as we get yet another slow Erangel ending here. Godspeed. Ooh, sharp shot.
I'm just looking actually at Wildcard's track record. This is only the second time I think they've hit a top 3 in a while. Like yesterday they hit in their last game, but before that, I mean, it wasn't looking great. So it's nice to see not only are they here in the top 3 again, but they have 5 kills already. So I mean, these are points that they desperately need. And you heard Kikamukau say it. They need to finish in the top 8. That is their goal. And that is a very doable goal, mind you. Very
Absolutely
doable for this team. Yeah.
You know, you're chasing Tokyo Manji Gang Synergy T8. To an extent, I mean, if you want to have higher aspirations, you could look at Bing Bang Boom.
Sure, of course.
I mean, I think coming into this tournament, I was saying that Wildcard and Bing Bang Boom probably, well, them and 22, the 3 teams really that stood the most to gain off of PGC points if they could have a good showing here. And at least through the first week, it wasn't too great, but both of these teams responding very, very well here in week number 2 as Waikiki trying to avoid the shots. Can he get oh my gosh, he actually gets there.
He survives.
What a Chad.
An absolute Shadicus Maximus, I agree. And that circle shift has happened, and that wall is pretty much the only thing in now at this point. I think Sharp still, no, they can still play this ridge line if they want to, which is very good for them and very bad for the other teams, because they actually have really solid sight lines here. And with utility usage, they can actually get up on that wall fairly clean. I don't know how many smokes they have left, though.
Yeah, the problem starts to get to if every one of these teams just lies prone on the wall.
Yep, that is a worry.
You know, they're not going to give you the opportunity. Well, wild card. Keenan actually going to spot out Adam there, so that's pretty nice. Yeah, I mean
this is it, phase 8. So
Necro actually going to find the knock on Anika. They actually did get the res on a Necro. What a goodness, Trog. How do they pull that off?
Keenan just saw that rock, right? Keenan wants to send that car. Yep, he wants to go to that rock, take the forward position, and basically be the closest one to center. But he has to survive. He doesn't.
No.
And that's because Greg's angle is nasty onto that approach.
Yeah, I mean, you heard Cameron talking about Greg Shot having a little bit of a slow performance here. but those are some very, very timely, important shots that he lands there. Now Olus has gone down, and Posa going to be the one to do it to him. Roth just trying to survive a little bit longer in the smoke cloud as the push from Wildcard coming out. Might have come out in the perfect time as Greg Shot's going to find Necro. Roth hiding in the smoke cloud. Posa going to try to send the shots in. He's going to go down. Wildcard cleans it up. Roth goes down as well, and Wildcard gets another huge win.
That was absolutely necessary, and man, what a game for them to do it coming off the east side of Millie Base, and that was a gold game for them to win as well, specifically because BBB actually did have a very good position. Unfortunately though, Greg Shot was on the other side of that field and he was just lasering the members of BBB coming down. I think it started with Keenan, and man, they were able to clean up Trog in a blink of an eye.
Absolutely. I mean, it can't be understated the importance of Greg Shot hitting that knock on the was it Oldless that was trying
Keenan.
to go?
It was the initial one.
Trying to go.
Was Keenan, yeah.
Yeah, that was huge. I mean, it was absolutely huge, game-changing stuff there for Wildcard. So really, really well played by them. 11 kills as well to go along with the win. That's going to shoot them up the leaderboard. To go along with the win that they got yesterday in Game 5. I mean, this is a great turnaround for Wildcard here in day number 2. Day number 1 and day number 2 in the week number 2. So love to see that. Love to see what else they've got going for them. But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, the analyst desk will break down what we saw there in game number 2.
All the ridges, and you can't, just the invisible ridges, you can't be shot.
Não é, eu gosto de região, muito mais vegetação, muito mais bonito de se ver.
Porque não tiene agua, es el mejor.
Miramar is trash. Needs to be remade again.
Porque é um mapa com muita progressão, a gente consegue jogar mais safe zones, é simplesmente isso. Tem muita coisa, é bem poluído, é o melhor mapa por isso.
Frantic. No, don't use that. No. Calm. There you go. The complete opposite.
Hectic. Troll. But we're working on it, and we're trying to be more serious. But it's hard. I play with a bunch of young guys, so they're always joking around.
Rápida e efetiva.
Improvisados.
Calmo, organizado.
Elevated with trees.
Elevado meio de árvores.
Low ground in a compound for sure. I think that's how you win game.
Elevado. Um terreno elevado.
Não, high ground total. Prefiro estar dando tiro, pressionando o mapa.
Zenny, he literally flips every single time he's in a car.
Eu azeitei, péssimo piloto.
Jarita.
Meu time. Acho que. Psico ou. Psico.
Me.
Wildcard said that they needed to get into 8th place, and after that last game, they are way closer than they just were. That said, I do have to say, I heard that players used to have all kinds of routines and different things that they would do to like, hi, it's me.
Hi.
Look at them both hard at work, writing out their notes, prepping everything up. We're just giving you a behind-the-scenes glance on what's going on. But I had a joke prep for it, but I'm just going to go ahead and let it go. Clover, BBB making points not in Game 4. Who would have thought?
You know what? It happened finally, and I was even holding my breath wondering if this was actually going to be a chicken dinner. Are we going to get a break that curse of the map switch? But as you said, they really put down some much-needed points, and hopefully you can still have that map switch momentum going into the next game.
I know we want to talk about Wildcard. We want to talk a lot about so many things that happened inside that game, so we're just going to jump right into the highlights so that way you can take a look at everything we just saw.
Highlights. I'm bringing that energy. All right, once again, Spicy Fish fighting the early fight, having that high ground defense. This time they picked a different cliff on the far western side of Millie as Fiumba tried to take a boat rotation wide off from the mainland. Didn't quite work out well for Fiumba's Moody. Got to work getting the first 2 opening knocks, and then with some support from Simply Matt and Pat Cats, were able to get a full squad wipe onto Fiumba, and that is really important, and we'll get into why. Fiumba going out early was huge for the leaderboard for some of those teams.
Yeah, with Synergy up here, they had a lot of work this entire time while Spicy Fish were holding off the west bridge. Sorry, not the west coast. Synergy were holding up the bridge. They moved down here. They got a whole bunch of kills, including this wipe on the Sonics. A very, very solid defense. However, it's when we get into Yahoo and Dodge sneaking up onto them that things do finally stop for them. Yahoo didn't have a lot of action throughout the early game, and that's usually when you expect to see them start to be a little bigger, a little louder. This was the real test here, and they did pretty well, all things considered. They did kept getting slowed down by Dodge, but anyway, we're moving on because I can talk more about that later.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that was a good point too, because Dodge obviously have been in the chase, right? Now, I think they're now at this point 3 points behind Fiumba, and that was a big attribute to it. But another team that really needed it, Wildcard, you see getting that full wipe, not only on Troglodytes, but to be able to flush out what was left. 11 kill points, plus the placement points, bringing to a total of 21. That's a big leap for them in the overall leaderboard. And I mean, we've been talking all day. They need to make 8th place is what they had said, so...
Well, that should give them a decent chance on getting there. Bing Bang Boom also finding points. Dodge has been quiet here recently. Yahoo and Sonics on the lower end of that. I just want to give massive respect to Wildcard. They know what they're playing for, and while it isn't first right now, whenever we look at this next leaderboard, it is going to be much closer to their goal. As you can see that there is only a 5-point differential between where they were trying to get to. And if they can play like what they were playing last time, they can definitely get there. The way that they closed that out, Godspeed was talking about the angles that they had on control were so good.
Yeah, we want to focus on how they closed that out because it was really just how slowly they approached it. And I know that it's not the most exciting thing to watch, but they made sure that they put themselves the best foot forward, the greatest chance of that win going their way. It looked really, really rough using that wall, getting shot by Troglodytes. They had Bing Bang Boom on the high ground, but they were able to thread the needle, or really felt like just finding that perfect moment. And then what you saw, once they were in position, once BBB were taken out, that high ground was no longer in the zone, it was out in the blue, they could then just stand up and just laser down Troglodytes. It was about surviving for that moment, and, well, I mean, we all saw they did it.
Well, the joke that I was going to open with whenever we were coming into this segment was, I heard that the players way back in the day, before we had all the crazy circle settings, each had their own different routines. Like they would do emote dances, or they would run in circles to try to pull the circle to them instead of having to deal with it. It was just all these RNG things. And I'm just curious, did you guys ever have any of those that you did or still do?
Nah.
I mean, I used to always try and bribe Primrose for good circles, but yeah, now I'm trying to really think of who can it be? Who is it to bribe? Or nobody really gets in our DMs and bribes us for caster cursing good circles.
I mean, they used to, but there was so much mythology surrounding circles and how they would move. These last 2 circles have been very, very vicious, but then also kind of toothless at different sections too. They've been hard shifted. They've been a lot of water. There's been decisions that you've had to make that the circle's been way smaller than it's actually supposed to be. But at the same time, it's not too terrifying to handle. The players know how to approach it, and it's not the normal chaos that we can see on some of these circles camp.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, if there's one team that needs the shift to come their way in the next couple of games, I think it's going to be Yoho. Yes, I am using this as a way to force myself back into the point that I was trying to make earlier about this was honestly a really good game for them. They got 9 points overall, 5 kills, and that's one of those sort of box standard Yoho games that you come to expect. The problem is with so many stinkers yesterday, they need like 1 or 2 like even better, really, really big games, and if they can get one off of a shift coming their way, I mean, hell, every other team would take it, so why not them?
While you're going to be talking about Yoho, I'm going to be talking about Godspeed and Porosaurus as we are moving into game number 1, or game number 3, game number 1. I don't even know what I'm talking about, guys.
Game 3, talk about us.
You said you're gonna
talk about us. Talk about us, dude. Tell me something about us.
Yeah, sing my praises, man.
Let's go,
Godspeed,
Matt.
you are beautiful, and I love you. You bring so much insight.
Nice little stretch.
Poro, we've been friends for a long time.
I actually did have a ritual back in the day. Before
What was your ritual?
Before every MPL game, I'd have a little.
Getting fined for fist fights? Was that your ritual?
That did happen, yeah. No, I used to have a little bottle of chalky milk before every game day.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my thing.
I like
Just
that.
Little bottle of chalky milk. It did help.
Work?
I mean, yeah, for the most part.
How many MPL championships did you guys win? Or?
We didn't win any championships, unfortunately. We only placed top 4. It's kind of
strawberry milk, maybe.
You know, maybe if I had gone with a double chocolate, that actually might have been the problem.
Banana milk. That's what you messed up with. Banana milk is so underrated.
Banana milk is actually good.
I'm team almond milk, y'all. I got lactose intolerance. Okay.
How do you milk an almond?
Yeah,
come on, you're just talking crazy now. How do
We're
you
going
milk
to
a
some
banana
dark
for that
places
matter?
with this
Not
one.
anything I need in my
Speaking of
Google,
speaking of crazy, this isn't terribly crazy circle.
Godspeed, how do you milk a banana? Let's go. Tell me.
Oh man, off stream.
All right, 50-50 Northern Circle. A nice little calm circle for, well, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Moody gonna kill Poonage. That's not a good way for Yoho to start. I think Poonage may have disconnected that.
That is not ideal, I think, is the word I would use.
Bad man. I don't know. Actually, I don't know if Poonage DC, because, I mean, the rest of his team's down there. Might have been going for a...
Could have been just going for a nice... Either that or just loot a little free compound in the south, because I don't think... I mean, it's pretty uncommon, even for teams that loot melee based, to I feel like send 2 at that compound. So I don't know.
This is now 2 kills that Moody has managed to get off of people dropping too close to him. Don't
Dude,
go
Moody,
anywhere near Moody off the drop, guys.
I mean, he's still got it, man.
The tape is out. Like we know that you just don't go near Moody. It's just not worth.
I'm just curious what like the rest of Yoho is going to do here now, right? Like I don't really feel like they take a fight here on Willy Island. I mean, especially the circle's not even here, right? So they'll probably just loot and get out, just take their loss and lick their wounds, you know? It is what it is. It happens. We've seen many a team lose one early and still win the game, so.
Yeah, and like, to be fair, it's Poonage who's died first on Yoho, like, a lot. So I guess Yoho's kind of used to playing without him.
Maybe he's just a god tier, like, dead commer, you know? A little disappointed there was no flip, but you know.
Yeah, there could have been a flip there. Come on, Kiki.
I feel like a flip was just. I mean,
flip.
There was no risk to doing the flip there, you know.
That's true.
I'm actually a little upset.
I mean, you had him there with you. I mean,
I'm a little upset.
Could have got rezzed. I don't know. Sonics leads frag grenade damage with 1,769 dealt. Nice.
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 That's a nice little... There's a lot of damage with nades. That is a lot of damage with nades.
That's heckin' a lot of damage,
That's
actually.
a heckin' lot of damage, oh yeah.
I wonder who second is, actually. I wonder
Man, this has
how
gotta
high
be
the lead is.
one of the stale... Aside from that early fight we saw with Poon dying, this has just been... Like I'm looking at the map right now, even trying to break this down, and it's just like.
Well, look, that's why we focus in on fun facts like Fiumba claims 11.6% of the total M4 damage in this lobby, with 8,067 dealt.
That's a lot of M416 damage.
It truly is.
That's a lot of 5.56 rounds.
Close range Fiumba is a terrifying thing, assuming that they decide that they actually want to fight you and don't just like let you live in the second floor and then die to blue.
Okay, that Yeah, I mean, that was
9 kills that game, guys.
Of course.
They were fragging. Leave them alone.
You're the one that we're just picking on them, though.
You can't prove that.
I can in a court of law. I'll have the proof.
Well, our favorite Gloucester Canaries have dealt 3,049 damage with the Scar L, more than all other teams combined. You know what? I bet. You know why? I bet Balefrost held a Scar for like 5 minutes throughout the entire all the games we've played so far, and in those 5 minutes he was able to do 3k damage.
Not a lot of Scar users. That's
how I feel Bale is rolling these days.
That's how I feel like it is with the AK as well. That's why I got so excited when I saw. Oh my goodness, who had the AK yesterday? Was it? It was.
Well, there you go. Speaking of, Necro has an AK. He's gonna.
It was Necro. It was literally Necro. Thank you, Necro. That timing is actually god tier. I was like,
trying to survive. Oh, there you go, Cold.
I was like, he's on Trog. I can't remember for some reason his name, and then sure enough, he gets a knock with it. Yeah, it was Necro. He's been rocking that AK, man, this whole event, and I love it.
That man with the AK. Well, he's going to go down for his troubles, unfortunately. And now, so is Hello My Bad. Is Kill Demo actually going to find a little bit of an angle here? Look at Trog. They're starting to kind of rally the troops a little. And I think maybe just too easy. They see them pushing in, and that might pull them off just for now. Yeah, you can see Pulsar taking shots.
TM, by the way, came in from the West Everest bridge, right? Like they came in from the west side, and they went to this compound in this position because of how strong it is. Even if the circle shifts south, even if it goes away from them, and they have to cross that river, they have so much information. As long as they just stay alive and keep at least 3 up, which they've done, they're going to be able to recover that. And so good on them. Again, TMG is starting to do the things that we saw in regionals that we were expecting them to do, and it's very nice to see the adjustments that they've made over week 1 to now week 2.
Slowing things down a bit, I think Yahoo is camping the bridge for Spicy Fish.
I wouldn't put it past them at this point.
I think they took offense to the fact that Spicy Fish killed Poonage. Unfortunately for them, it looks like Spicy's going to go for the East Bridge.
Yeah, but I mean, I like the sentiment, right? Like, okay, they take one of ours. When they cross, we'll try to kill at least 2 or 3 of theirs, get whatever loot they got from Millie base as well, especially meds, and then just be on their way. But yeah, unfortunately for them, Spicy Fish wants nothing to do with that. They're going East Bridge, and that's a smart play. It's a smart play.
Truly is. And looks like Yahoo's going to pull away, as well as we're keeping eyes on Sonic. They've kind of made their way into Rozhok. Nobody really near them. Bing Bang Boom just off to the east by that Roz Bridge, but I'm not really looking over here. I'm keeping kind of one eye on Sonic to see if they decide to send 2 north of the river just to kind of gain a foothold. But for now, it looks like they'll just kind of stick around in Roz. Yahoo, meanwhile, after leaving that bridge camp, they're going to find Fiumba rotating just off to their north, and they've got Young Kings just off to their south. So wide open field jousting coming in here between 3 teams. As you can see a few more shots coming out from Shimboy, but looks like they've kind of pulled off for now.
Yeah, I don't imagine this is going to be too much of a big car pile up here. Most of these teams are going to pull off. They just want to get in circle at this point. They just want to get in because they know that this split, again, it seems like a fairly unassuming circle just because there's so much land and there's so little water. But crossing that bridge sometimes, especially if you're not already set up for the other side, it's really difficult to play the other side of the circle when it shifts away.
Well,
and so that's why these guys are trying to get in there as soon as possible.
Well, looking towards the future on circles like this, a lot of the times we see teams kind of hang around on that south side, and then they send it for those Georgia pole bridges.
Yep.
And right now, it looks like you got 22 Synergy, Young Kings, Fiumba, Yahoo, all on the south side, kind of making their way over towards those Georgia pole bridges. So we'll have to keep an eye on those.
Also surprised part, sorry to interrupt you, but look at Cube. Look at Cube, bro.
Wide open.
Yet again, wide open. And this has been happening actually, I feel like quite a bit in these circles. Cube has stayed open because I feel like teams either they think there's already a team there or they're just not in any position to scout it. But like that position is so strong because even though it's not central, Cube actually gives you really solid rotations into the north or potentially in the south if you have to cross that bridge. And I'm hoping Yahoo just takes control of it right now.
There you go. That is that Cube building as Yahoo scouting it out as they pull past.
They're turning around. Yep.
It's like they'll turn around and send at least Sparking there. Yep, there you go.
Free 99.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this having to do with the fact that you've got Troglodytas and Tokyo Manji Gang that loot North and South George respectively, and neither one really electing to go and play that as we kind of take a look at all this. This is what we were talking about, that log jam kind of setting up for those Georgia Pole bridges. Synergy sent Danny over to the north already, but the other three still behind. So now 22 kind of getting there, and Hayes 10 on the bridge, but the rest of his squad behind. Young King's going for the one right by the cube, and there you go. The hard shift to the south. Look at the reversal from Young Kings. They hit the parking brakes so fast. Man. Tokyo drifting their way back on there, and there you go. Haven going to find Benya as this 22 and Synergy fight coming to a head.
And that's a huge loss for Synergy. Benya has been so solid, but even still with the other three, I mean, you still have Silzen on that. You still have some really solid players on that team. Pippa as well. But yeah, losing Benya early is not ideal. Danit's going to go down as well. That's actually really devastating.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned that they had sent Danit over to the north side while the other three kind of stayed on the south side. So Danit gets picked off by Hayes 10. And 22-4 up still. Dean Zera, the only one inside circle for the time being, looking for a place to call home, while the rest of 22 kind of hovers around, seeing if they can pick off any more off of Synergy. Yaho making their way into Watertown, just too easy. You can see making their pass just off to the east. Sonics, as we mentioned, was in Rozhok, never sent anybody over to the north, so they have Prio on Rozhok Hill, and it looks like they're going to send two down to
they're going
to
the
Waves.
Package Waves. I mean, that is probably the best position in the circle, if I'm being honest. Followed closely by Yahoo's actually in a solid position as well. Just to mention them, they did take the Watertown flat top, which gives them a nice little foothold there. But yeah, Sonics just got a prime location.
Prime location indeed, and they're getting it basically for free. I mean, it looks like Bing Bang Boom has settled in on School. They're going to take a few shots over at Sonics, but Sonics, for the most part, got it pretty stress-free. And we'll check in with Trog as they're kind of making their way just on this western side of Everest. Tokyo Manji Gang coming down across that bridge by Cube. Take a few shots. Wildcard coming that direction as well. So the west side still really packed. As we see Bing Bang Boom, they've got three inside School, one on the north side, just kind of keeping an eye on things. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Nobody in Roz for now. Nobody playing from that city. Or
nobody in
just
Roz.
Too easy, I guess, is kind of playing the hill.
But the thing that actually surprised me most about this circle and this shift is that all the teams that rotated off of that north side, in fact, all the teams in general, made it out of that shift unscathed. Like normally when we see a hard shift like that, there's a lot of complications, a lot of issues. I talked about earlier how difficult it is sometimes to cross north or south depending on the shift, but that was very painless for these teams, which is, you know, it's a good thing for all the guys in the field, because that could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, Synergy kind of the only one that really took some damage.
Synergy actually took some hits, I
mean, they lost two, but they still got two up, and they actually went super far south, eating a lot of blue damage, and now they're actually got Wildcard on their back, so it looks like Wildcard doing a really, really long wrap around this south side. Adam going to lead the charge. 22 and Young Kings preferring to play around that Pachinki area. Tokyo Manji Gang looking around that area as well, so that might come to a head as you see Young Kings 22 still kind of creeping around, trying to get up to Church. It looks like 22, and they're going to get there just as Tokyo Manji Gang is driving past. They're going to try to send it in. Juarez goes down. Zealot goes down. So Tokyo Manji Gang coming in a little bit maybe cavalier into this north side of Pachinki.
Yep, they're going to lose, as you said, 2 for their troubles there. And that shift is going to go directly onto the Sonics. Again, this position that they're playing from is so damn strong.
Real nice stuff.
Tokyo Manji Gang is just, they're in trouble now. They're in big trouble.
Yeah, fully surrounded on all sides. Fiumba's, Emmy's going to spot him out. That's
such an
easy grenade.
Yeah, it's not a great position. They didn't really have much else options, and that was just not going to end well for them. Fiumba's going to clean up 2. Emmy's going to get picked up. It's going to be an easy 2 points for them.
Okay, well, everybody make sure you keep an eye on the map stream as well while all this is going down. Hit that exclamation point squad stream in the chat.
Chog!
And Chog running right on top of the dead bodies, but they didn't realize the situation that they were pulling in. Fiumba still has some grenades left. One gonna fall a little bit short here. Keldemo and Posa staying alive now as Rusty Zera slowly bleeding out. They'll get the smokes down. They should be able to get this res as it looks like Fiumba's pulled away. But look at Haven. Haven coming up on this.
Yeah, but this is now where they're committed. Like, Trog, they don't have vehicles anymore at this point. And Haven is now going for the grenades, realizing that they're in a bad bowl, but he is potentially overstepping. And he's got to be very careful here.
Oh my goodness, 5 HP on Haven. Luckily, he does have that boost going.
Kind of surprised at the lack of aggression here from Fiumba, unless they're starting now. Especially because they were able to push out for Tokyo Manji, so... You know.
Yeah, Haven going down. Dean Zera trying to give his teammate a little bit of support, but I mean, this is 22 holding church. And sending Haven over there to try to see what they can get. Yeah,
that was really greedy, honestly. Maybe he was scouting and wasn't sure if he's there, but I feel like they could have seen that angle. So I'm not too sure on that play by 22. They still have 3 up though, so all things considered, they're all right. But yeah, that was unfortunate for Haven.
Yeah, we'll see what 22 decides to do from here on out. They're hopping in vehicles. Meanwhile, Wildcard making the crash into the south side of Young Kings. Looks like they took one off here. Trog now going to keep an eye on 22. They've managed to get one knock. Can they get another? Dean Zera goes down. Vinny and Hayes 10 still alive, but man, 22, it has just not been good. It's just been kind of snowballing in the wrong direction.
Yeah. It's been a massive struggle for this team this event, and that's really all there is, to say about them. I'm not gonna bash them or say, like, kick them all down. It's just been a rough event for 22. It is what it is.
It is what it is indeed, and unfortunately for them, the Fiumba kind of having a good tournament means that the pressure's going to be back on top of them. Yeah, back on for PCS 7. So we'll see how they decide.
Regardless,
they've got a new player coming. He's an actual fragger, Gizera.
Whatever happens this event, regardless, I mean, they just take what they can from it, make the adjustments, and then just, like you said, head into PCS 7. That it is what it is. Sometimes it's really all you can do. You're gonna have a bad event every now and then.
Indeed. Well, New Circle does pop. I'm cutting a little bit further south as we see Fiumba in that picture-in-picture trying to dispel of Yaho. Yaho just crashing right on top of him. Looks like 22 will get spotted out by Synergy. Pippa actually going to be the one that does it to both of them. So Pippa and Synergy adding to their kill count as Emmy has to pull back in. Gets a nice little spray down there from Sparking. DraftKings already down, but Fiumba a hard nut to crack here for Yaho.
Yep. This is a straight up 3-on-3 as well. I mean, you even have the 3 of Trog just above them. So this is also a rough fight just because it's not in circles. So these 3 teams are going to have to be very careful or very quick about what decision they're about to make.
And meanwhile, in the picture-in-picture, you can see SCG taking the fight to just too easy. They're going to find a couple of knocks, couple of flushes as well. Just too easy, just barely surviving now the onslaught of throwables. SCG has to be kind of quick about this as they're getting shot at from range by BBB, and you've got BBB, Dodge, T8 all trying to make their way in from the north side. Meanwhile, E United wrapping up in this direction as well, so SCG needs to be as quick about this as they can. As Extreme, they're gonna just spray inside the smoke. Cody Kid going for the reses, actually gonna get Kalnix up. Can he get Harita as well? There you go, Vox. We'll find there it is. Cleaned up, and a Short Circuit Gaming will get some much needed points here.
Short Circuit needs this, they need this desperately.
Now United, we mentioned they were kind of wrapping around on that eastern side. They're gonna run into TAC 8. They'll take a trade. Zenny gonna find another one.
Nice angle.
Good stuff from T8 as they will lose Psycho, and now Hooligan gonna get shot in the back by Finna. Oh no, that's the problem for this fight for T8 is Dodge. Bing Bang Boom, they were just kind of biding their time from those school app spots, and they can just kind of sit here and third party these fights. Snakers does get flushed. They might be able to get the res onto Flood. However, they got to be quick about this.
They have to be very quick about this, but I don't know if they're gonna get the chance. Who's gonna get knocked immediately? It's just down to Kickstart now.
Oh, United falling apart in consecutive games here as we check in with Bing Bang Boom. They try to push out of school, and they're getting pushed now by Dodge. They try to take the fight to SCG. So far, SCG holding. Nefahor will bleed out. Extreme and Vox now the last 2 up, but you can see Bing Bang Boom has taken a lot of damage of their own.
I'm actually just also so impressed with Dodge and the adjustments they've been able to make off of some of their bad games. I'm very impressed with Finna. I feel like Finna has been leveling up a lot over the last year.
Finna has been putting on a show.
Yep, he's been putting in work, man. He's been grinding for sure, and I respect
another
the hell
nice
out of that.
grenade. Gonna find, yeah, there you go, bing bang boom, cleaned out. SCG staying alive. Keep in mind, E United also went out again with 0 points, back to back 0-point games for E United. You gotta imagine that Sonics is keeping an eye on that, Yahoo keeping an eye on that, and knowing that this is their opportunity to try to make a little bit of a push here. Actually, I'm not. Where even is Yahoo? Are they alive? Did they get wiped? What happened?
Is, I think they're dead, my guy.
I think they're gone. Okay.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yahoo's gone.
Yahoo's gone. They managed to collect 2 points, so this is fantastic news for Sonics.
But look at this
already
push from Spicy Fish.
Push here. Spicy Fish will find Zenny. Tater now the last one up. It's a little bit of a tree to hide behind, but they know exactly where he is. And Icy Flex going for the flank, finds the spray. Doesn't do the damage. We'll switch over.
Nicely done.
Nicely done
Flex.
from Icy Flex, as that's another kill picked up for Spicy Fish. They've got 4 strong. They've got Potato.
I want to point out they were on the top of Potato. They held that off from multiple teams, and then when they heard the fighting and they saw that their edge was potentially being contested, they actually pushed off of Potato Mountain to go clear that out. That is such a heads up. That's like an old school Moody call as well. I feel like that's the type of stuff that he would always do. He loved playing aggressive on edge, pushing off other teams. We obviously see that now from a lot of other teams as well. But again, for Moody to just come back after such a long break and be able to just kind of find his place again is really impressive stuff.
Absolutely.
And also shout out to the rest of that team who's playing very well behind him. Don't get me wrong.
Sure. For sure.
But yeah,
for
I mean, he's been taking a fat competitive break, and the fact that he's back now doing this well it's great. It's great to see.
Well, I mean, just the fact that we were talking about Spicy Fish, because of their roster issues coming into this tournament.
IC, shout outs to him. Yeah, not even really supposed to play this event. So yeah,
I mean, they didn't have a lot of reps as a squad, so they've kind of came in with very little practice, and you can see they're just kind of picking things up and figuring it out as they go along. Just fortunately, they got obviously some really good natural talent to lean on here, and the meta is starting to come here. The comms are starting to come, and they're getting a little bit better every single game now. See them making their way back towards the top of Potato, but Sonics and Dodge now on this north side. See how they square up. Ethan gets spotted up by Tig. That's a first knock, as Ethan, the front man, will go down immediately.
Sonics, man, if you're United, you're really annoyed right now, because not only did you get wiped, but Sonics is just continuing to find points, continuing to find the end games, and this is the pressure that we knew that they'd be able to apply. I mean, United and Sonics are constantly doing this to each other. It's nothing new.
Yeah, United, it's definitely been a first couple of games to forget here.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a struggle, but again, that team is just as good as Sonics is adjusting, but now we see Young Kings getting shredded.
Oh man, Young Kings thought that they could kind of sneak up on the backside of Sonics while they were tunneling down onto Dodge, but Sonics doesn't tunnel on anything, and they immediately look in their back. They will take the knock on a H-Win, and Mime gets knocked very, very low. Tig working around those smoke.
Fighting back.
Yeah, they're giving them everything they can handle here. Ecuz goes down. As another smoke coming through from Tig. They're going to try to get this
wild
res.
card.
Tig.
Look at wild card. Look at wild
you
card.
can see him from the top. There you go. That's what Tig's spraying through. He knows where the tree is. He's just going to spray around the edges. As a nice grenade from Mime will find Psycho. And now Tig going to find, he's going to spot out wild card. As you said, the push coming in at the most inopportune time for Sonics, but they're holding the line. They're staying alive.
And Young Kings, to their credit, are just doing their best between two four-mans right now. Or it was a four-man. Sonic obviously got knocked down to 2, or excuse me, 3. But either way, I mean, Young Kings were doing a lot of damage to Sonics. They're trying to hold their edge. Unfortunately, Wildcard coming in and cresting the top. Now Dodge, though, coming in behind Sonics. And this whole northern edge has just become an absolute bloodbath.
Oh, while all this is going on, Spicy Fish just laughing at the top of the hill. They're not getting involved in any of this. As Wildcard, Dodge, both sandwiching Sonics here. Tiggleton has been knocked. Shrimsy and Mime still staying alive here. Smoke wall still going for now. A few throwables coming in from Wildcard, just off the mark.
And Wildcard know this. They know that there's another team potentially, or not potentially, there is another team giving Sonics trouble, and they're going to use that advantage to try to get as much damage, potentially some kills, and get rid of the Sonics so they can clear the rest of this edge. It's just down to Mime.
Oh, Mime gets to the edge, and he gets knocked low enough to go down to the blue. And that's
Dodge
going to
is
be it for Sonics.
playing this game so well. I mean, if you go back from the very first circle now to see what they've come, even losing a member, the decision making and the rotations they've made, 6 kills on Finna alone, 10 for the team. I mean, this is a hell of a game for them. Last game was also solid for them, I believe.
Really good work from Dodge. Really good work from Wildcard as we see Wildcard in the top 4 again. It's like night and day for Wildcard. They have made some amazing adjustments. Dodge,
Yes, they
10
have.
kills. Knocked down to just Finna, though, as Spicy Fish find the angle. Icy Flex, they're going to be the one that does the most of the damage here. Icy Flex has just been...
Icy Flex has been awesome. Absolutely
really
awesome.
good.
Yeah.
You know, he's been fantastic for this squad, and he's going to spot out Gats, or Finna, rather.
Finna, honestly, Finna can die now. It doesn't matter. They did a hell of a job this game. Yep, that's totally fine. That's totally fine.
All right, Wild Card, Spicy Fish, and you've got 2 from Synergy still at the top that have just not been getting involved here. They've got that little trenches on the top of Potato. And once again, down to next to nobody, and it's only phase 7. These games
are crazy, man.
Circles 5 and 6 have just been absolutely brutal.
And also notice SG has been a duo here. It's been Silzen and Pippa for a while, and because Spicy Fish were able to kind of push off, and they wanted to push off to clear their edge, that's when SG kind of snuck in and took their spot. And they've been sitting here just getting placement after placement this whole game. If they could find a few kills, that would be massive, because they could overtake Wildcard and potentially get in 8th. But Wildcard is still a 4-man. On top of that, Moody has an angle on SG, so they have a massive undertaking here if they want to actually get some points off of this game.
A lot of work cut out.
Okay. As I say that, Moody catches one to the mouth.
And just chew on that here. Pippa going to try to follow it up with some throwables.
This
the
is
grenade
dangerous
not
now.
going to land. Flashbang runs right on top of him. Definitely blinds him down, but doesn't get the knock. Gets a nice little spray, but you can see Icy Flex coming up over the top to provide some support.
Bad, though.
But the next nade from Pippa.
This is very bad.
Knock.
Because Wildcard hears all of this, Poro. All this action that's happening on Wildcard is like, yep, we're just going to come in. And even though Silzen is holding this angle, he's just solo.
Yeah, he's holding a
If he can get 2,
4.
this would be massive. But he needs 2.
Let's see what he can do. Opens up the first, doesn't get the knock, has to reposition, pulls back to the hard cover, has a grenade to follow it up, 2 grenades to follow it up. He's still got 2 in the pocket. Pippa's still alive. Moody hasn't gotten flushed. Actually, a knock coming through. Oh, knock coming through on Greg shot, and then immediately gets followed by another one on a White Kick and Mukau. Wild card.
That's massive. He flushes.
2. And now Silzen trying to see if he can find another grenade. Doesn't hit the mark. Adam just removed slightly here. Silzen peeks just enough to see Adam and pulls back down. Doesn't have Pippa with him for that hard peek.
It's a 2-on-2 on 3 now. They've actually somehow, SG and Spicy Fish were able to kind of cut down a little bit on the wild card. They actually pushed them back now, which gives Spicy Fish this ability to kind of wrap this hill. And that's a massive knock.
Huge stuff from Icy Fish. Or
Icy
Spicy
Fish.
Flex.
Spicy Flex.
Whatever you want to call him. Adam goes down, and now it's, as you said, a 2v2v2. Nikos, looks like Icy Flex spotted him out on the tree. Another shot. Icy Flex is on fire. He pushes through Wild Card as Wild now just down to Greg shot. He's got some utility. You can see Pat Caps kind of holding that top side here. Flush out will be the 5th kill in the bag for Icy Flex, 9th for Spicy Fish. Silzen will find Greg shot, and now it's a 2v2 Synergy versus Spicy Fish for the win.
And what looked to be so good for Wildcard in the end actually came down to Spicy Fish and SG almost working together in order to kind of to even out the odds. And now it's just down, as you said, to a 2v2. But Spicy Fish, they actually have all the control in the world right now.
They sure do. And you can see SG. They have to move. They have to move here eventually. And Spicy Fish know exactly where these guys are. Silzen just kind of waiting to see if Spicy Fish will overpeak this. But they are being very disciplined. Silzen gonna hop, actually Pippa gonna hop in the vehicle. Let's see if he can maybe bait a peek here. And he will, actually. Icy Flex will go down. Silzen doing what he can. Pat Caps will follow it up, gets the trade. And now it's a 1v1. Pippa coming over to provide some support. He's lost Pat Caps, though. He doesn't know exactly where he is. He thinks he might still be on top of Silzen. Silzen needs to be feeding this information over to him. There you go. There you can see.
Yeah, I think he saw him.
Yeah, immediately Once Silzen told him where he is, you could see Pippa kind of pop his head over that direction. 10 kills now for Spicy Fish in a 1v1. Pippa versus Pat Caps. Icy Flex trying to feed information over. The spray
That's
comes
a lot
through.
of damage.
Pat Caps does a bunch of damage onto Pippa, but doesn't get the knock. Can he get the last bullet? Oh no, barely misses. And now Pippa trying to go for the heal. Pat Cap knows the situation. He's going to push in. He'll find him before the heal gets off. Spicy Fish get the win.
Man, I'm just gonna say this: if Icy Flex was done right before this event, and so if he actually finishes out his PUBG career after this is me a shame, because the way he's playing this event, this actually might be one of the best performances from Icy Flex I've seen, and it's coming off the fact that he wasn't even supposed to be here. So massive shout out to Spicy Fish, Icy Flex, obviously SG, Wildcard making it to the end of that game, but it was really SG and Spicy Fish for me. The way that they were able to kind of cut down those numbers and then make it a 2-on-2, that was a fun end game.
It really was. A lot of kills going in the pocket of Spicy Fish, as well as they kind of make their climb up the leaderboard. Again, as you said, Synergy making the late game. 3 good games for Synergy so far today.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've had the points to really kind of go along with it, but they've looked good to the eye test. They look great whenever we're watching them. And again, Dodge also collecting a nice little stack of kills for themselves as well. So
10 kills.
The fight for the leaderboard position here is starting to really heat up. Now that we've gotten 3 games on Erangel out of the way, Godspeed, we're about to make that swap over to Miramar. Oh, and I know you're excited. I know you're excited. You love Miramar. You're a man who loves his Miramar.
Get ready for BBB, baby. That's all I'm saying. The map switch, 3 games down, the map switching, especially on Miramar, they have good success there. So I'm looking forward to Miramar. You know I love the Sands.
I know you do. The map switch is coming, but before we take a break, I want to take a quick reminder for you guys to go check out PCS7 registration is open, and you can find more details on na.pubgesports.com. Keep in mind, open qualifiers start August 10th, so make sure to sign up now for your chance at PGC points and $250,000 in prize pool money. Again, that's na.pubgesports.com. Go sign up now. But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Analyst Desk will get us set for the second half of the day.
3 points separating E United and Sonics for first place. SG at 128, Wildcard 126, T8 at 125. Young Kings and BBB tied up going into Miramar as we're now going to make a map switch. And okay, we've been seeing all the days before this very top heavy as far as points have been gathered up. It's been a lot of Sonics, it's been a lot of E United. Today, that climb trying to get on the left side of the leaderboard is where so much of the action has been happening at Cam.
Yeah, honestly, it's been a bit slow of a day for E United specifically, which is a super unfortunate thing. Yahoo as well have shown a couple a spark here or there. It's mostly Sonics that is like really mostly in the mix, but I think fortunately with the buffer that E United have, that's not going to be super decided quite so quickly.
Well, the leaderboard is getting messy, and the fights were very clean whenever we got to the end of that, so let's give it a quick breakdown in the highlights. Kick it off, Clover.
Yeah, and all right. Real quick, because I've been talking about Dodge for quite a while because I really have been watching them, right? We're talking about not only performance here at ESL, but the race for PGC points. And Dodge have been in a race to hold on to their position in terms of PGC points they had. They came into this in 9th place with 100 points. And right now, taking over 4th place puts them in that spot to really vie out for competition. So when you're looking at teams like Dodge, you can see right there in the background, Finna, Hiker and Ethan, all of that play, it's giving them points. They've managed to pick up 25 points in the last 3 games. They're making smart plays to convert kills. The big struggle right now for Dodge is their inability to make it to the late game as a full squad.
Yeah, here though I want to highlight Wildcard's push. We're starting to see the Wildcard that we have come to expect, at least before this grand final started. This amazing push to take advantage of the fight that Sonics, Young King, and Dodge were taking a part of. But the coolest thing is seeing that they had the trust in Adam to just anchor their position at the top of the hill. At this point in the fight, you can see on the minimap that Adam has pulled away just a little bit. But that was a smart maneuver to give a little bit of space so they don't get overrun. They do eventually get overrun here by Spicy Fish and Synergy, who we can see facing off in the very end. And I'm just going to echo what Poro and Godspeed were saying, is that Icy Flex is looking absolutely fantastic, able to clutch that one out. 20 points for Spicy Fish off of that one game.
Spicy Fish, there you are, pick up the points. We knew you could do it. Dodge back behind them with 14 points. They're wanting to make their climb, but it's the Synergy wild card, Young Kings, that thickness, all that right there is so much where we're going to be talking about, because we keep talking about PGC points. That's the story for wildcard. We know they need to be making it into the top 8, and look at this. They touched it for just 1 second, but then Synergy taking away that end game is what's going to propel them back into 8th place and remove Wildcard from that spot. So TAC 8, Wildcard, Synergy, all vying for somewhere that is very important specifically to Wildcard, but Synergy wants to make their climb as well. You can see Sonics feeling pretty good about this, however it's going to go. E United got a decent amount of points. It's once we start looking down and further into this, the Rumblers, Dodge, Synergy, Trogloditas, you can see this is just going to be a couple of points that separates it out, Clove.
Yeah, and now here's the thing too. Regardless of how Sonics, United, and Yahoo place at this event for ESL, you can look at the total points. They are clustered so thick together. They're not really at risk of knocking any of them out of position. But as you say, wild card with Luminosity being out this game. I brought up Dodge. Dodge right now is sitting at 120, or excuse me, sitting at 90. 4th place for this event is 120 points, and that would be huge to mix things up on the leaderboard, especially with Luminosity being absent this event.
It's okay, we're making the switch over to Miramar, and I know we've been making the jokes, Cam.
Yeah.
Is it time for BBB? Is it gonna happen?
I mean, the narrative has been flipped because they had that one bad game in that second 2 set. They also had the one good game today. So, like, honestly, I don't know. I just hope that they do better. I love this team. I think they're a really good roster. It's just starting to get really, not just disheartening, but also starting to get annoying how they can just never really seem to get it together for a good amount of time. They have spurts here and there. I'm hoping for a good end of the day and a really, really good day 6 for them, but at this point it's a coin flip, it feels like.
Yeah.
The battle for 8th is important, but the battle for 1st is also pretty important, Clover. E United's been missing today, and Sonics have exploited that. Is it time? Are we finally going to see E United dethroned by the King's triumphant return in Sonics?
You know what? I still hold true that United will always close out an event very strongly. So even if today ends up being a weak day for them, I see tomorrow changing that. The big issue, obviously, as well as you say, we're starting or ending on Miramar today, which means we're starting on Miramar tomorrow with 3 Miramar tomorrow. So there's 5 Miramar games and 2 Erangel left from this point forward for the rest of the event. So if you're a team that does really, really well on Miramar, now is your chance to play catch up.
And I want to remind everybody, United is really good at making about circle 3 or 4 rotation to figure out where they need to go. And on Erangel, most of those, except for the last game, have been in water. So the circles and the rotations haven't been in the most favorable way for United with the way that they like to play. That said, they haven't been great for Sonics either, that last game excluded. But Sonics, they're used to that type of pressure and playing in there.
Yeah, I think you raise a really good point. Really good point about Sonics. They're used to just like trying to force themselves in from a scrappy angle, not in the same way that you see like your Ho, but they still play a little more flexible, a little more loose. While United, they either play super defensive or they look for the opportunities to send it into center. And yeah, you're actually I think you're perfectly right there. There haven't been the opportunities, but going to Miramar, not nearly as much water. I don't think it's going to be as much of an issue. So this will be the set of games for United to regain that lead.
Godspeed Poro joining us back in here. What do you guys think? Wildcard going to be able to climb into 8? You think Sonic's going to take first? What's up?
I mean, with the way games are going, yeah, I would agree. Like, United definitely needs to make, I mean, they've had some rough circles for sure, but yeah, these last 2 games are where they need to get their points because the Sonics have obviously caught up. As far as Wildcard, it's been a good day for them so far. I mean, if they can continue this.
I mean, no circles. I mean, there's no water on here, so the circles shouldn't be as bad to them as it has been, right?
But we've had some water.
Why do you have to say
circles.
Look, I said it for a reason, guys. Look, play into the script that we've got. It's right here to our right. We have to make sure that we're always teeing it up.
Circle, just watch.
True. I mean, yeah, we'll see.
If nothing else, Wildcard at least doesn't have to worry about Fiuma hot dropping them on Power Grid anymore.
True.
It's a step in the positive direction, right?
You're a step in the positive direction.
Thank you for that.
I said it.
I love the commitment too. Yeah. I mean, look, Wildcard's having a great day. United, 2 back-to-back 0-point games in a row. I don't know, but if you're a betting person, I don't think I'd bet on United having another one.
I would also not bet on that. United is a team that, like, they have a few games. The last thing I'm going to do, or a few bad games, the last thing I'm going to do is just like worry about them. Or like, oh man, they had some bad games. Their mental's trashed, like they're done. Like, United's not that team. They're just as resilient as Sonics and, some of the other teams around the world that are top. And so I'm not really worried about them. Yes, do they have bad games? Absolutely. All teams do, but I agree with you. I think they're going to turn it around. I doubt they're going to have another 0-point game before it happens.
Well, look, a lot of teams benefit off of the map switch. Obviously, we've made the Bing Bang Boom storyline be a thing, which I tend to agree with Cameron, though. They did have a bad day, a bad game in Game 5 yesterday, and then a good game here in game number 2 today. So I guess we can kind of move away from that narrative a little bit more. It was just it was more of a coincidence, a funny stat line coincidence.
A little coinky dink.
Yeah, something that we like to point out just to giggle about for a time being. But there still are a lot of teams that do benefit off of the map switch.
Yes, definitely. And I think BBB, especially when it switches to, like, yes, they've had success. I think Clover was mentioning, like, regardless of which map it switched to, they tend to have some success. But I feel like on Miramar is when they do actually get a decent amount of their points when it comes to kills.
Yeah, switching over to Miramar seems to be helpful. A lot more helpful, I think, to some of these guys. As we check in on Mountain Goat Snakers. Look, what?
You can do it. Making the climb.
Come on. You're making Batulas cry right now, Snakers.
Are you guys taking notes?
Yeah, there you go. Snakers just needs 190 damage to break 10K.
That's actually really nuts. That's a lot of damage.
He's back on, man. Look,
is that the return of crackhead Snakers?
See, there you go. We brought it up. I mean, it seems like it is, but
that was a term brought up by Snakers himself, by the way. He called himself crackhead Snakers. I mean, there was definitely. I remember Snakers coming up was like he was a really irritating player to play against. And what I mean by that is like he always was either on like a really weird angle, or he always had the drop like on you. I mean, he was you could tell back then that he was going to be a problem, you know, like when he actually started to really improve. And obviously, like, look at him now, he's on one of the best teams just around. But yeah, like Snakers is, I mean, he's always been a problem, man. He's always been a really strong player, even back when he was still, you know, kind of getting his feet under him and starting to play PUBG and learning.
Shout out to that one guy in chat that's like, why are we watching this guy jump on rocks? Show the action. Guy, there's literally nothing going on. Nobody, not a single shot has been fired out of a gun since we've been here. So we're gonna watch Snakers climb a mountain.
Yeah, and talk about Snakers. Yeah?
Exactly.
A little pass.
And Balefrost.
Set to destroy X Snakers? I think that was like one of his first major teams. I think that was his first major team, if I remember. Set to destroy. Was it Set to destroy? Right? That was the team, I believe.
Yeah, I think you did the same thing I used to do, and that was get Set to destroy and Check 6 mixed up. Oh
yeah,
no.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Check 6. There's a massive throwback too, man.
You know, so H-Wing goes down, and this is kind of something that I've been kind of keeping my eye on circles like this that go north of Picado. Wildcard has been setting themselves up to cause Sonic's problems. Now, it hasn't necessarily bared fruit.
Panned out, yeah.
But it does this time. And as a result now, Sonic's gonna have to play without H-Win. Not that that's, you know, it's obviously not ideal.
It's not great,
to have
but
four up, but 3 Sonics are just as dangerous. But the problem is now they've got Dodge inside already, and ooh, Ethan, do they know?
And we've also, real quick, as we watch this kind of clear out happen. Actually, I'm gonna wait a second. Nice knock onto Finna from Tig.
Not a bad idea, Finna. Okay, Ethan's gonna find Shrimzy, as now Sonic's starting to realize the situation that they find themselves in. They are pushing into a compound with roaches scattering everywhere. They will flush out Finna with that well-placed grenade from Tiggleton, but now down to 2. It's just Mime and Tig, but that is a dangerous, dangerous duo, especially in close quarters. Hikem and Ethan Gats starting to pull back together, pull themselves here into a hard 3 so that they don't get caught out 1v1. A few shots come from Ethan. They'll push away from that grenade as Tig and Mime just holding the line here, starting to see a few flashbangs come through. Mime will find this shot with Gats. 1 HP on Mime as Gats goes down. Doesn't get flushed out just yet. Sonic's have to pull back so Mime can heal.
This is such an awkward fight to take. Tig's gonna find another one. Shotguns abound. That's gonna be an S12K and a pump. And just like that, it's down to a, I think, 2-on-2, right? Or no, 1-on-2. Yeah. Ethan's the last
one up, and Tig, he's gonna find Mime. Tig gonna try to push with the S12, and he gets him. Wow, so close as Dodge goes down, but Mime gonna get rezzed. Sonic's down to a duo. What great shotgun work in close quarters here from Sonics.
A hell of a try from Dodge, but the most important thing to notice is Sonics have, even though it's just by 1 point, they're down to 2, Sonics have actually not only closed the lead, but they've taken the lead in the series. Yep.
Take the lead. We take that. As Sonics fans now in first place for now. We'll see how long they can hold on to it. Unfortunately, they are down to 2. United still 4 strong.
That was a close fight with
very close
with Dodge. And I'm pretty sure Tig even got the first knock in that fight. So it was a valiant effort from Dodge, but they will go down after having some pretty damn good games.
Indeed. Last game was the first time Spicy Fish saw Circle 8 since day 1. I don't know how many times. I wonder how many times we've actually seen Circle 8. It feels like our games are are ending.
Yes.
Pretty early, but I don't know if they're actually ending early or if we're just getting down to a couple of teams very early and then they're just taking a little bit longer to play out. I actually don't know.
I feel like some of the circles have been really awkward to play as well, which is why we've seen a lot of teams just kind of falter or just fall completely, because there's really, like, some of the circles we've gotten, there's been nowhere to really play, you know what I mean? And so it's been rough to kind of make it to 8. And yeah, I think this whole event actually, our final circles have been like very devoid of players in general.
Yeah, we've had some slow finishes, especially on Erangel. Man, it felt like we had 4 in a row there.
Erangel's been really slow, but I mean the mid games of Erangel have been very exciting. which is weird because usually the mid game tends to be the slower part of a game, right?
Sure.
But it's not been the case. It's been a nice change of pace, I guess.
Yeah. I'm checking in here with Bang Bang Boom. We'll see if they can reproduce a little bit of that magic they found in game number 2, as they have to kind of be keeping an eye on this good performance from Wildcard today. They stand to gain a lot here, the higher they can finish in the rankings, and Wildcard kind of right there with them in terms of PGC rankings overall is what I mean.
Yeah.
So those two definitely keeping close tabs on each other, as we see United taking a few shots at SCG, slowing things down here. A very wide spread of all these teams here in this circle.
This is probably going to be one of the stalest early games we've had, which is fine. You know, I think sometimes it's nice for a circle to be somewhat vanilla and give the teams a kind of a break, right? Like a breather to set up what they actually want to do and rotate into circle, and then it shifts like that.
Hard shift down to the south.
It shifts like that.
And it is going to put everybody on notice. They got to get in the vehicles already on the move. You can see the Skittles everywhere. Just got those little steering wheels on them. United going to send Rello and Flood back to join the Southern 2. They'll have a little bit of a central position in their looting location of Minas Generalis. They've got the high ground already staked out. South side, looks like La Bendita Crater Synergy's just going to get well, they've got a wide split actually. Synergy's kind of all over the place here. Let's see if they can get everybody back together. But here you go, Rello and Flood.
That's a really, really intense split. I mean, their top duo is not even anywhere within earshot of protecting the bottom duo. And in fact, Young Kings is actually rotating right next to them right now.
They are. We'll keep an eye on that here. Sonic's actually getting really close to Wykick and Mukau and the Wildcard boys. Mime, as we are down to 2, but that has never stopped Sonics from being aggressive before, and especially not Mime.
No.
As, I don't think Mime has ever seen a 1v1 fight he doesn't think he can win, and that is the confidence.
Or 1v2 or 3 or 4.
Or 3 or 4. Yeah, Mime is confident, and Mime is confident with good reason, because he pulls those off more often than not.
Yeah, numbers are irrelevant to Mime, and that's just totally fine.
Yeah, especially when you got Tig as your shotgun rider, you feel like you can take on the world.
You know, I could think of some people. I could think of some less people. Is all I'm saying. You know, Tig is he's all right to have my back, I guess.
You know, if you're gonna play as a duo,
I can think of a few other people. Maybe
you can do a lot worse than having Tig there.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to say.
There
you
you
can do
go.
worse.
I see what you're trying to say. They are going to get a little bit close to Trog. Big spray coming in for kill Demo. Gets some damage into Mine, but doesn't get the knock. So the duo will stay alive for now as they make their way a little bit further down towards the south. They're going to end up in kind of in the middle of this Young Kings 2-2 split on the south side, just off to the western edge of La Bendita Crater. But they do find a spot.
All things considered, this is actually a decent spot. Yeah, this is actually a really decent spot for them to take as well. As a 2-man, it's bearable to kind of hold this compound. On top of that, they still have rotations to go up towards teams like Trog and SG. So
keep
also
those
to point
tires
out,
safe, they'll be all right.
Yep. Also to point out, SG actually was able to consolidate that split safely, and they actually have themselves a very nice spot in the circle right now.
They are looking pretty good. Meanwhile, United, we saw United in that 2-2. They got the high ground and the low ground covered, but we're not able to see. Yep, Shinboy and Sparking actually getting a little bit close here, and I think the low ground duo actually spotted that out for the United boys, so they'll able to kind of force Yahoo off, and that is good news for United as they kind of reclaim that whole territory around them. You see Kickstarter's like, anybody sneak around? We want to make sure there's no snakes here.
Any jumpers?
Any snakers?
Yeah, there's
snaking jumpers.
There is one in this game.
One snaker here. As we wait and see.
I'm just waiting for the circle shift. I just want to see what it does.
Where's the hard shift going to go now? Okay, hard shift to the northwest. TMG getting dead
TMG
center.
is looking. They need to consolidate though. I don't like the split anymore from them.
Yeah, no, they gotta get back together real quick, and it looks like actually
They're going to. I think they're going to.
Okay, yeah, the northern duo. I was looking. It looked like they had one in a vehicle on the south side, and they might have been considering that northern compound, but it looks like they're instead going to try to get the northern duo back to the southern.
Oh,
they're going to pay the price. As Hallow, my bad, going to get spotted out by Calnix and Harold, and meanwhile, Yaho trying to make the pass right past Spicy Fish, and I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it again. Poonage.
What, the Poon was the first one to die again? Yeah.
I feel like
wondering.
I'm speaking it into existence at this point.
I am curious though. Like, I want to see each situation, right? Because, like, I don't know.
It's all stuff like that. It's all stuff like that, where it's just random. You know, he's taking the same path as
the rest of his team is there. Yeah, like I don't.
You know, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. It's super.
That's got to be
unlucky
frustrating
for
for him. Yeah, he's got to be. That's frustrating to die first every game. I mean, especially if it's something like you're just rotating with your team, right? You just happen to be the one that gets picked out. It sucks. It really sucks.
It's just it's stupid and it's annoying and it's frustrating, as you said.
He just doesn't get to play today. That it is what it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That being said, the point I was going to actually, I remember now, the point I was going to make about Sonics is, as annoying as it is, dead comms are incredibly important, especially because you're not having to focus on your mechanics. You can solely focus on your different teammates' perspectives. Obviously, keeping track of the kill feed at that point needs to kind of be on you, but you can still feed a lot of information to your team as a dead player.
Poonage getting a lot of practice with that this time around.
Yeah, he is.
We saw Sonics. Sonics took a knock on Mime, but they were able to actually get back in their vehicles and get back on the move somehow, and they'll find this little dip with a nice little rock. Not the worst spot in the world if you're a duo. You don't really anticipate anybody crashing this anytime soon, at least.
So their biggest threat is going to be Wildcard. Tokyo Manji is not moving. They're sitting in that compound. They're doing their thing. Ting's going to get knocked. Their biggest issue is really going to be Wildcard or potentially like Young Kings or one of the teams that's going to come in from the west.
Oh, it's a big fight right here for Bing Bang Boom. Nice shots from Waikikamuka. Adam holding the line. Sharp shot will find him, though. Gets the trade, gets the knock, and now Roth is down as well. So Wildcard, they make the crash into this 2-2 split from Bing Bang Boom. Actually a 3-1 split. Oldless still low, still alive. Waikikamuka has the high ground, but he doesn't have an angle onto any of these Bing Bang Boom players. As Greg Shot trying to see if he can maybe spot these guys out while they're looking around. No! Oh, he just avoids it. How? I thought that would have definitely got on him.
I thought for sure that was going to splash on them, but luckily it doesn't. They are going to get on the roof, and again, a lot of control. These long buildings, we've said it before, we'll say it again, are notoriously difficult to push.
Oh, good spot from Greg.
But when you got different elevations like this, things start to change.
Oh, he goes down to Ikaz, though. You can see in your kill feed, Yaho's been taken down by Fiumba. So Yaho's struggles today continue as well. As Nikos will try to go for the res onto Greg's shot. The grenade just falling short. Okay, that'll do it. Nicely placed by Waikikamuka onto Oldless. And I believe, yep, there you go. Keenan was the last one up.
Clean, fairly clean.
Gonna go down to the molly. So Wild Card, their success continues, and that is very bad for Bing Bang Boom, as the United spotting out Spicy Fish from the high ground.
Yep, and they still are they're just doing so much damage, and they're hurting so many teams away from their rotation, right in their side of the circle, which is exactly what you see with Relo and Flood. They're on the west side, or excuse me, the east side, completely clean, holding off the other part of that Spicy Fish duo and any other team that would have come. The crazy thing to me is that there is actually still some pretty decent playable space on the east side of this. The problem is none of those teams can really get to it because they either have to fight through another team or United is just being a menace.
Another hard shift to the northeast. Maybe not as hard as it could have been, but definitely still going to have to. All these teams on the south side have to try to find somewhere to play now. You can see T8 made their way in from the north side. They find a spot. Wildcard looking for where they want to go as Troglodytes crashes the dip just to the west of Tokyo Manji Gang. Snakers, okay.
He's fine.
He's fine.
He has a little sprained ankle. He's chilling.
Yeah.
And look at Mime.
Oh, no. Oh, can he do it?
And Tig is still up, by the way. They were able to recover that.
Oh, Mime would love... Oh, Mime wants this so bad. Does he have a grenade, though?
I was just about to say, does he have a grenade?
That's the thing. He's just going to hold the spot for now, it seems. Icy Flex, I think, might be the last one up for Spicy Fish here.
Yeah,
and
the rest of them got kind of destroyed by United. He's going to find one. Can he get the flush for the point? He does. I mean, he did his job. It's really unfortunate there for Snakers, but, you know, Icy Flex did what he was supposed to do. He got his point. He got his.
He did indeed. I hate to see. Oh, he's got 4 grenades. He's just playing it real close to the vest right now, so we'll see. At any point, Mime could decide to strike. I love the fact that he's got his face inside the tree, like the if I can't see you, you can't see me kind of thing.
That's not why he's doing it.
I know, but that's how it looks from the outside.
Yeah, you're good.
But Tig just kind of keeping an eye on that ridge line, make sure nobody peeks up over the top at him. So Sonic's just kind of playing it close to the vest for right now. Meanwhile, Synergy on this south side, they've got
They've been here for the entire time. Now they got to make a move.
There you go.
DM again is just sitting so pretty.
They're looking real nice. They're looking real nice. I mean, they lost one, and they do have Trog just kind of hanging out in that dip off to the west.
Yeah, but that push for Trog to make is not that easy.
It's not. It's not, especially when you consider wild cards on the north side. You've got Young Kings on the south. Synergy now has to go somewhere.
Tiggleton is playing kind of wide, looking at that angle as well, because they have to make that run as well. Don't forget.
Yeah.
I mean, Sonics is not in.
Gonna be interesting to see where Synergy goes. It feels like the south side of TMG's compound might be the play.
There's really nothing to play on the south side except for that compound itself. Yeah, as you can see, it's just barren. There's nothing there. The east side as well, that's a downward slope. That hill, there's really nothing to play. That shack is in, but that's like a... Okay, I'm glad they didn't go to the shack. Send it to the compound, go for the game-winning play, guys. And that's exactly what they do. Yep, okay.
There they go, and now Sonic's going to start the push onto Trogloditas here. Initial knock onto Posa from Mime. Follow-up grenade will be good.
Gone.
More grenades coming in from Sonic's. Ooh, Tiggleton takes a lot of damage. Actually, Zealot going to find 2 of Synergy on that push with another grenade. Tig goes down to a nicely placed one from Necro. Mime now pushing over the top. He gets 2 with a grenade, and he's still got the spray. Trogloditas down to 1, but Mime... Do you go for the res? Do you go for the flush? Tiggleton bleeding out rapidly here as he is on.
I think he go for the res.
He's got to be like third knock here. Got to go for the res.
Yep, he just used all of his utility, make sure that they can't make that push.
Oh no!
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness, Tig! He's gonna go down again. That's fine. That's fine. He got him up. He got him up. He's gonna go for the res again. Tig is bleeding out quick, but again, Mime playing this so well, using all his utility, resing at the last possible moment to deny the push.
Somehow Rusty gets out of there just in time, and they get the re-res.
He just clutches so often for this team. It's ridiculous.
That was the problem I was worried about. When is Wildcard going to get involved? And Nikos will knock Mime. Now Tig will have to spot down. Synergy, meanwhile, we saw him in the picture-in-picture. Tokyo Manji Gang holding off that push admirably, but they now have Young Kings in there as well. So Sonics get back up to 2 strong. Rusty Zera, the last one up here, but the problem for Sonics, as we said before,
they have to cross. Yeah.
And I don't know if they have. I don't even know if they have any smokes. Tig doesn't. Mime, I know doesn't. So there you go. Nico's gonna find Mime, and Rusty will get Tig, and that'll be it for Sonics. But they get a lot of damage done. 7 kills and first place, or at least a tie for first place right now. United though still has 3 up.
But most importantly, again, is they've taken the lead from United, right? Because United came in with, I think, like a 28 or 30-point lead or something like that. So the fact that they've closed that gap now is really big. But United, as you said, still alive and in a decent position for the time being. They're in that shack. They'll be able to stay there for a bit. Their next play might be a little muddy, but we'll see. They don't have a lot of options off that shack, I'll tell you that.
Look, the one good thing United's going for them right now, they don't actually have to move, whereas look at all the teams that do. I mean, you've got so many 4-man squads on that north side that have to make a push in. Yeah, United just kind of gets to hang out here and wait for this to play out. Tokyo Manji Gang still 3 up inside that compound. Remember, Young Kings has landed in there as well, and you got to imagine Wildcard just too easy. T8, 22, one of these teams at least will be looking over in this direction to maybe make a push. I don't know. There's some spot on some space on the north side of that road.
There's an incredible ridge to play on that north road, but again, they have to clear out the rest of the teams on the north. 22, luckily as well, I don't think will be an issue unless they decide to go to the north side of the road, but they should have a ridge to play just on the east there. So yeah, I think it's going to come down to just too easy, TAC 8 and wildcard for that north road ridge.
Yeah, TAC 8 in the worst position here as they're right up against the edge. They're on foot, looks like, trying to make that move. It's just too easy.
By the way, on the east side, that SCG is right under them. So
yeah, just looks like just too easy is just going to hold the line here, wait for TAC 8 to make their move first. And Waikika rest of wild card, looks like they're starting to head over to that ridge line as we speak. Tokyo Manji Gang still waiting for the push from Young Kings, but Young Kings content to just kind of hold it for right now as Colton spots out Rusty Zera but can't get the knock. And look at that, Young Kings actually using that as a sign to make a push here, and they're gonna find him. He gets the heal off but not in time, and he will go down to Ikaz as we cut over here to Fiumba trying to hold off the push from 22 Esports.
Just draft.
Just Draft King left. Good spray from him. Finds Haven. Capitani still bleeding out. Could be rezzed. Ace 10 down as well. 22 down to just 2.
Oh my goodness, is he doing this?
Blinded.
He's doing it.
Vinny the last one up.
Oh, he's doing it.
Clutching out for Fiumba.
DraftKings, this entire, I mean, DraftKings always been so solid, but this entire event, I feel like he's really stepped it up for his team. He's been wonderful for Fiumba. Absolutely wonderful.
Big plays for DraftKings. Can't get the res onto his knock teammate in Capitan, but it's okay. Six kills.
Okay.
They clean out SCG. They clean out 22. Now, United, they've sent Kickstart a little bit high to look for him, but meanwhile, this fight's still playing out in the north side. T8 not going down without a fight. It is down to just Zenny. Just too easy, trying to hold the line here. Harita pushes in, takes a lot of damage, has no helmet, and Zenny's going to win it. Just too easy, going down in 7th place.
I settle, I think 1v2 or 1v3 there from Zenny, but now the last one alive, obviously Wildcard has taken control of that ridge, and this is all but, I don't want to count him out, but I'm just going to count him out. This is done for Zenny. I don't think he has a prayer here. He has to deal with 3 members looking at him. He's in the blue. I mean, he's just healing, hoping for position. Maybe like one of the other teams dies somewhere. Wildcard can't make this push, but they can absolutely just make sure that he doesn't get to play.
Oh!
As I say that, he finds one and he dies.
He gets the knock. I mean, that should be a fairly easy res.
It is, but that's still annoying. Yeah, that's damage, actually. Absolutely.
Damage done there, and the circle does pop. It is going to cut south of the circle, so Wildcard going to have to get on the move. Meanwhile, Young Kings still have to push through and enter into Tokyo Manji Gang's side of that compound. United still 3 up. They've got 1 knock right now. Should be able to get rezzed here. Fiumba, DraftKings still holding that high ground, still causing problems.
He still has a bike too, so I mean, he can make some sort of mad dash if he wants. Maybe find some like weird dip or something. I doubt it, but I mean, he has that option available. Wildcard, meanwhile, are sending it to his side, and I think this is actually their best play. I like this play a lot. It's not a great play. I mean, they don't have a lot of options, but I feel like this is probably one of the best things they could have done.
No utility in the bag for DraftKings. All he's got is some flashbangs. He can try to throw over the top here to see if he can maybe find something off a wild card. He's going to take the fight right to him, though, as looks like he will get spotted out on that ridge line. Good spray coming through. Greg shot. Nice angle. We'll take him down. And that is Fiumba out in 4th. But again, for Fiumba, more kills, more placement points picked up.
Yeah,
just holding on to that 4th place spot. You can see Dodge having a hell of a day, but they just cannot catch up to him.
Fiumba is definitely making it difficult for the teams below them, but United, we kind of thought, Poro, that they wouldn't have another bad game, and sure enough, they find themselves in the top 3 alive with 7 kills.
7 kills. High ground to work with here, and we've seen what United could do with that high ground many times.
They're all right
this
with high ground.
So far as Flood gets the last one in, but immediately gets traded down by And1. RDS now the last player. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, he's got And1 with him. Might be able to get that res.
3v3, and each team has 1 knocked. So it's about as even as you're going to get, although I will say advantage goes to probably, E United and Young Kings as far as positioning goes, but I mean, this compound is slowly getting cut out, which gives all the advantage to EU.
See if it slows down a little bit here. They're going to go for the res on Ikaz. And looks like they'll get it. And the new circle pops, and yep, United Hashtag blessed on this one. As
they fought for this, though. They absolutely fought for this.
They absolutely did. 7 kills. Will kind of goes to prove it here. Wild card will have to move up the hill here, move south. I would imagine there is a crate you can see on your mini map that's just inside the circle, and you have some rocks there to work with.
It's actually decent cover for wildcard if they can get rid of Young Kings.
It is, and it's
or vice versa.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's actually decent cover for Young Kings to push in.
Yep.
If they've got the smoke wall to get there, you can see them
Which
trying
it looks
to
like they do.
Laying it down right now, and E United keeping a close eye on it.
Jumping is very dangerous at this point, because if you get clipped, you're donezo.
Those jump peaks, you might get some information for it, but you might pay the ultimate price here. RDS has to pull back to get a little heal on, and one, and Ikaz will defend him as they continue to just. This is good stuff from Young Kings, that they still have the utility to kind of put this pressure on. But Greg Shot doesn't care about the pressure. He's going to find the knock on RDS, and one now knocked very low. He's going to go down as well. Ikaz now the last player up, and it's actually E United that's doing the most damage here. They're giving Wildcard a little bit of support, turning it into a 3v3 eventually, as Ikaz will get spotted out. It's going to be Greg Shot that does it.
Kickstart the rest of United, though. I mean, they're just so comfortable in these positions, right? 9 kills, solid game, starting to pull away again with that lead, even though it is only 11 points. Remember, they lost that lead this game, so
they did.
The fact that they're just bringing it right back, I mean, it's what you love to see from your top teams, honestly. It really is.
As you said, a hell of a response as Nikos gets knocked very low, and he actually gets ticked down by the blue. That is super unfortunate for Wildcard. Down to just Greg Shot and Cow, as United will pick up their 10th kill. Waikikamu Cow, see if he can go for this high ground on the flank. Does have to be careful of Aurello. They know exactly where he is. You can see him taking the shots. Ooh, just misses
also,
there.
Just to point out, 9 kills on Wildcard too, though. I mean, they are absolutely turning this tournament around for themselves today.
It's been a joy
wonderful
to watch.
to watch.
I mean, this is what we've been wanting from Wildcard for so long, and I think he brought it up at the beginning of the day, or maybe Cam brought it up. They just haven't been having the same success with that wide split, that control splits that they like to do. It's actually been costing them more than it's been giving them. And maybe more adjustments now, as Wildcard will go down. Easy stuff for E United as they get 12 kills in the win, and they secure their first place hold a little bit stronger.
I mean, what a game for United, but I think there's definitely some shout-outs that need to be given. Tokyo Manji again, defending from multiple teams. Sonic's Mime doing what Mime does, getting them more points. And then, yeah, Wildcard just playing so much better today and actually turning this around. And I have hope for them going into the last game today, as well as the games tomorrow.
I mean, E United is just playing on another level right now. And, you know, the crazy thing about it is you go in and after tonight's game, you go and watch Kickstart stream, and you'll hear him talking, and you'd think they were in last place the way he's talking. He's like, God, I'm playing so bad. I'm trash. I'm garbage. I mean, they are their worst critics. They're their hardest critics. And, you know, they are playing this well. And even if one of them thinks that they're having a bad performance, like kind of Kiki thought about his week 1 performance, there's still 3 of them there to pick up the slack, and they're still in first place. They're having a great showing here.
Absolutely. I mean, you even heard it from Flood in like one of his first interviews with that team. He's like, I don't even think I'm playing that well, or I don't feel like we're, you know, he was trying to get used to playing with a team, yet they were still, I'm pretty sure, on top. So it's like that team has very high expectations for themselves.
As they should. I mean, they are a phenomenal team. And if this is what they're playing like when they're playing bad, watch out, I guess. But we're going to take a quick break before we come back for game number 5. But before we do, want to take another chance to remind you that PCS 7 qualifiers are open. Open qualifiers do start on August 10th, so make sure you go to na.pubgesports.com to find out everything you need to know about signing up for your chance at PGC points and $250,000 in prize money. Again, that's na.pubgesports.com. Go check it out, guys. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get set up for game number 5.
All clear on the roof. Roger. Hurry up. We need to move.
Just make sure I don't take a bullet in the back.
Looking good. Keep it steady.
I hear footsteps. I got a bad feeling.
Enemy spotted. Move! Move!
You're going up next time.
There won't be a next time.
Oh, with the circles not having a ton of water in it, the Kenobis of PUBG are back, united, figuring out how they want to make their rotation. And it doesn't even have to be the biggest high ground. They just know how to exploit what they've got around them. We're going in the last game, and it's been an interesting day, to say the least. Okay, where do we even want to start on this, Clover? Because I know we're about to get into highlights. What do you want to tackle in just a half second?
Right now, I'm trying to not finish quoting out that scene from Star Wars because I think the next line is like something along the lines of "I hate you" and a lot of screaming and
I was
being
gonna
on
say
fire.
the fact that like E United always plays on the Mustafar of Miramar, but I thought that like nobody would be able to get that
That's
one.
too deep. That's
We're-
listen. You
no,
too
we
deep.
can't
You
let
went
chat
like
know
the
how nerdy we
perfect.
are, Matchroom.
You went like the perfect
fair
distance
enough.
with that reference. Okay, like no further than that. Like that's the perfect line.
Then I will draw the line there, and we will pass it over to the highlights.
come on.
You guys work your way through it, and I'll think of some more bad jokes.
There are no further.
Yeah, a little bit of a nice high ground play from Snakers here, and as we see, they use this to the big advantage throughout the mid game. They do eventually have to fall off a bit, but over here, Sonic's taking out Dodge. Them surviving here, Sonic's, is crucial for them, and it was a very, very chaotic fight. They lost, I think it was H-Win before they even got into this compound. Tingleton and Mime were able to play out the rest of this round after this shotgun elimination pretty well, but with E United back on like their home turf, literally, they loot at Minas Generales. Sonics need to have at least a good game here, but this crash, BBB into wildcard, this just shows how strong 1-1-2 splits can be, because even on the initial send, Kikamukau up on that high ground just to the northwest dealt so much damage, and it wasn't easy, but it was still a lot more relatively straightforward for the rest of wildcard to then finish this up. they had those members of BBB cornered in that one top floor room and just throw grenades, and Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, and too, I mean, you talk about just teams being able to pull off some crazy things. DraftKings, once again, with the high ground. I mean, Captain and Fuma were kind of stuck out here for quite a while, and the Circle actually let them get away with this position for quite a bit. I mean, DraftKings even landing those shots while flashed. So they got the full wipe onto 22 and picked up much-needed points. Only 10 for this match, but that was enough to continue that back and forth that we have been seeing with them throughout the day with Dodge.
That's a big one. E United picking up points, moving into first, getting some distance away from Sonics, who only managed to pick up 7. My eyes are going to be drawn to the firefight we were just looking at that was going between BBB and Wildcard, because when we look at the overall, given the way that this is all played out today, and Wildcard and the amount of points they've managed to pick up, look at that. Now tied up with Bing Bang Boom based off of that firefight. Bing Bang Boom hasn't been able to get the points so far today, and Wildcard definitely has. So I've got to ask, Cam, as we're moving into this last game, who's going to be holding down that 7th place position? Do you think it's going to be Bing Bang Boom? Do you think Wildcard? Do you think they're going to be able to jump into 6th, one of the two teams?
It has to be Wildcard. They've been playing so well today. They've been playing well defensively, like we just saw. They've been playing well aggressively in other games, like on the last Erangel, right? They've just been playing really, really good. I think they actually have the most points on the day so far. Poro was just talking about that. Yeah, exactly. I don't know the specific number, but either way, they're looking really, really good. So there's very little doubt in my mind that they're not going to be able to jump BBB on this next round.
There's been some talk of E United and Sonics bumping into each other on occasion that's been problematic for each team in its own different regards. It does feel like today that Wildcard are finding their strengths in this one, and it might be slowing down the Sonics from being able to take the lead that they want from E United. What do you guys think, Poro and Godspeed?
I mean, I'm just surprised that you call them the Kenobis of PUBG as opposed to the Tusken Raiders, man. They just put the high ground, just shooting everything around them. Come on, man.
That's true, actually.
But the problem with it is if I
Raiders.
call them Tusken Raiders, they're fodder, and they just get blown up.
That's fair. Yeah, fair.
It
fits Miramar, though.
Would Dodge then be the Tusken Raiders? I mean, they're aggressive.
No.
They're finding some fights early, but
Dodge are the Jawas of Miramar. They're out there just scrapping up whatever they can find, trying to sell to other teams.
See, I was gonna say it, but I didn't know what team would be the right one to do, and it all felt toxic. Matt just you know what? Screw it. Send it with Jawas. Who cares? But no, Cam, you're absolutely correct. Wildcard, the top scoring team in our leaderboard today, 46 points overall. Sonics in second with 37. Dodge, Spicy Fish, and Fiumba trailing them. So big games coming out from teams that really needed it. Now, the problem for Sonics is that United, with that big game, obviously taking a little bit more of a secure hold on first. I think a lot of this is going to have to do with what circle we see here in the final game, Godspeed.
Yeah, it was obviously very nice for Sonics. I'm sure they were enjoying it when United was going out without getting any points, but obviously that was only going to last so long. United is a team that's going to make adjustments, and this is actually a circle that we haven't seen in a little bit, right? Like the heavily west coast El Pozo circles, and these ones can cause some issues just based off the fact that there's unplayable terrain, like jutting out quite aggressively into the center of the circle almost.
Yeah, and this is also, I feel like this is one of those circles where we get some... Oh, dear.
Gets the flex. Oh,
Yeah,
and a
okay.
little... That sound is actually so satisfying.
You know what sucks, too, is that Isoflex is having such a great
She's having
day,
a hell of a
man.
day. Yeah, hell of a tournament, I agree.
Like I said, Spicy Fish in 4th place overall in terms of points for today. They managed to collect 32 for themselves, and a lot of that having to do with the great performance by Icy Flex. We'll see what they can do as a trio. They got a long way to go, though, man. They're all the way off in Campo Militar. And what I was going to say is this: it feels like this circle in particular, with that unplayable terrain, as much unplayable terrain as we have in there, we see more hard shifts in circles like these towards the early and mid game, especially. It's going to basically make it.
It just makes
real tough.
Whatever playable area is there, it's just going to make it that much less playable as you have 3 or 4 teams trying to either rotate in, or it just straight up cuts out positions that teams were already trying to hold within this kind of weird circle. So yeah, it's It's not the easiest circle to play, but there is a lot of room in Pozo, luckily, for like multiple teams.
Sure.
Obviously, we know Monty can hold multiple teams, especially the surrounding areas. So it's not the end of the world, but it's not great, especially, as you said, if it hard shifts.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically gambling at this point, right? If you're an IGL and you're making a rotation into the circle, right? You got to kind of opt for going north, south, or directly in from the east. And depending on where you think that circle 2 is going to pop, there's different points of power, right? Yeah, you got bricks that gets a lot of play towards the middle of the circle right now. You could look at La Drea, that spot that Rumblers used to make so famous down there. Or if you go off to the north too, you know.
Yeah, I mean, north, like, generally, if I'm an IGL, I'm looking at this circle, especially with the plane path. Like, I would imagine there's probably not many teams on the north, and there aren't, right? And so, like, that's obviously going to be a very popular. Yeah, not yet, exactly. That's a very popular rotation. Obviously, we know the south is always used by various teams rotating in these weird circles, especially when it's on the east side, right? And it's a mirror of itself. So, yeah, it is going to be somewhat of a tumultuous, I think, rotation for some of the teams, but I think for others that have a read on the circle, coming in the north or south won't be that bad. Honestly, even for some of the teams that are going to come in on the East Coast, right, like directly into the circle, like not a lot of teams are going to be banking or playing towards that East Coast to camp it because they themselves want to get a much better position in the circle because they need it. You need to be somewhat centralized in the circle.
And we saw that little stat line in the top there that United has now passed their performance from PCS 6, where they finished in 4th place with 226 points. Now, keeping in mind that PCS 6 was won by those Sonics with 289 points. So second was 252, third was 230. So it looks like our top teams doing a little bit more here. But how many? I mean, good God, looking back, our top 7 all broke 200. For PCS 6.
For PCS 6, yep.
And, you know, that's still, you look down to 7, that's still 50 points away. So it seems like we're getting a little bit more point sharking done by our heavy hitters in the lobby here in the form of Sonics and United and Yahoo.
Yep. I mean, even Fuma today have come out and gotten some really good points, obviously Dodge. But yes, it is quite spongy towards the top of our leaderboard. And sometimes that does tend to happen, you know, in these lobbies. It is what it is. But, right now, it does seem like it's a battle between EU and Sonics for first.
It definitely makes that lower half of the leaderboard a little bit more spicy, especially in terms of placement and PGC points. Obviously,
especially for the top 8, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, big stuff there, and a lot of these teams stand to gain a lot in terms of PGC points, depending on where they finish here. And Wildcard, obviously the biggest mover and shaker here today, and they needed it. I mean, We've mentioned it before, BBB really and Wildcard. Yeah, they were the teams that stood to gain the most off of PGC points this time around, and it's been a little bit of a slow start, but they're delivering here in the second half. We'll see if they can deliver a little bit more as they're now tied for at least in overall points in 7th and 8th, and we'll get into the tiebreakers tomorrow whenever it starts really mattering. But meanwhile, looks like 22, they started to go for this western side of El Pozo. Now Tokyo Mancha Gang, once again, getting involved in some early fighting here as Dean Zera, the spray coming through, but he doesn't get the knock.
Dean Zera, now he's going to go, he's going to continue this push. Now he knows that Zealot is incredibly lit. And this is kind of a weird fight to happen in El Pozo so early because of how big the city is. They both end up running to each other here on this western edge.
And similar ideas for how they wanted to play this. Colton still rocking that bolty. Oh, man. God, I wanted him to hit it so bad.
I did
well, there you go. He's going to hit it on a Haze 10. And that's going to be 22 down 1 here. Is now Dean Zera and Haven will try to hold the push, or at least try to make a push on the Zealot here. They know they got him backed up against a wall. Flashbang comes through. No push coming out just yet. As Haze 10, or Dean Zera rather, making his way towards the staircase. Flames laid down. Vinny's gone down now too. So just like that, 22.
Just down to 1.
They send 2 over to deal with the solo, and they lose their other 2 in the process. And now can they find at least one off of this.
This is just TM as well, just doing such a good job of bouncing back, right? Like, I'm really impressed with this team's. As for a new team, especially that just came together, their resilience coming off of a very strong group stage. Nice knock there for Zealot. Can he find the second one? He's immediately ready for it. Beautiful stuff from Zealot.
Oh, and 22 just gets dismantled.
To my point, for a brand new team, when I asked yesterday in the interview if Colton and Zealot was like a thing that was supposed to, if it was something that was like planned, it just happened. He said we literally picked him up like a couple days before, right? Like they just started playing, and the fact that they're this good and that they can have a really poor week one and bounce back like this, I have a lot of hopes for this team moving forward.
I mean, it's a very similar situation to what we were seeing with Spicy Fish, right?
True, I agree.
You know, it was just kind of came together right around the time of qualifiers starting, and they've managed to start gelling and finding a little bit of a groove here, especially in week 2.
Yeah.
After a little bit of a slow start, we check in with Trogloditas. It looks like they were able to pull off of T8. They got a little bit close. They lost one, but the other 3 will stay alive for now. As we check in with Sonics, 2-2 split, just to the south of Montenuevo. As I think they got 2 in the church, if I'm not mistaken.
I like this split. I mean, they're covering a lot. They're covering a lot of ground while also not being completely unable to support each other. So this is definitely a solid split from them, and it's dead center as well. They do have to be careful about a crash, but if anything, I think the other teams around them will take care of vehicles trying to come in. So Sonic's a big chillin' right now.
United making the long wrap around on the south side, going to avoid a little bit of soft camp from Synergy here. Take a little bit of blue damage in the process. Keep in mind, guys, that you can hit that exclamation point squad stream to get the map stream up. Keep an eye on all the overhead meta movements going on. We are very close on that western side, so it's going to be...
That's actually probably best case scenario. Yeah, that's probably the best case scenario shift for a lot of these teams, right? It took out a majority of the area that is unplayable, which is that giant jutting ridge coming off the west, and now these teams can actually focus on the entire circle itself, right? There's no weird spots. They just have to make sure that they have their position and that they can either hold it or rotate off of it.
Ladria pretty free right now. Looks like Yaho going to send Punich and Sparking over there. Punich still alive in C1. You'd love to see it. There he is. A rare sight, a Punich running around, alive, breathing, happy. Is Yaho I'm not picking on Punich, man. Yaho is having a great tournament so far. I'd love to see him actually have a big game here in the final game of the day to make this a 3-horse race going into the final 5 games.
That would be nice. I agree. I would love to see
exciting.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the Punich thing, it's just, I mean, like we've said before, it is what it is. He just died, you know, he's just been dying first in rotations or unfortunate events. It happens. Now he's alive. And we like to see it, you know? That will happen from time to time. Ooh. But yeah, Yaho being 4 up, I mean, this is a massive opportunity for them, especially with that strong positioning to actually make something of this game for themselves and kind of rebound on the last game of the day going into tomorrow, build that momentum that we talk about all the time.
A really good spot here. As Bing Bang Boom, widespread, not taking the shots. You can see Keenan, I mean, he is all by himself, and actually it's Short Circuit Gaming that just keeps spotting out these Bing Bang Boom boys. They did damage onto Roth. They're going to get Keenan down to 16 HP as he has been spotted from way downtown. Roth just keeps wanting to take shots over at Colton. Colton's actually going to spot out Neff. So SCG, Tokyo Manchi Gang, Bing Bang Boom, all up on this northwestern corner of the map right now, trading shots out, and Bing Bang Boom, you can see Keenan doing a little preemptive scouting here to see where the rest of the boys might want to go next.
He is turning his attention again towards SCG, who is on that far west side. Not for Horse. Oh, this is not great. This is not great for SCG, but TM again making another very proactive play.
Boy is sprinting, and he had Colton with him too, and Colton's gonna find the opening knock. He'll get both of them.
Colton, man, that kid's nuts.
He is just fragging right now as Tokyo Manji Gang not wasting any time with Short Circuit Gaming, and now Richie and Vox already dipping out. They're on the south side. They're trying to find a new place to play as Nefahor and Extreme just get dominated.
Yeah, I mean, it's been rough sledding for SCG this entire event. I mean, coming into this event, we're really hoping that they would be able to continue the success we found in regionals, but it's just not the case. They have not been able to get their feet under them. Whether it's team fights, I mean, sometimes we've seen some nice team fights from them. Sometimes we've seen them get kind of ran over. Their rotations, which are generally pretty good, have been causing issues with other teams kind of being where they weren't expected. It's just not been a good event for them.
Yeah, they've had similar problems to a few other teams in that it's just inconsistent. You know, you have a good game and you can't follow it up with two in a row. I'm not even going to talk about that stat. I'm not going to talk about it anymore.
I didn't see it.
He's still alive. It's fine. The circle will pop and it's going to center up on Matsunuevo. And we get a few teams off to the south, actually, that are going to have to make pushes in. So Sonics, I'm kind of looking at, they're really widespread here, high and low.
It's wide-ish, but again, they can support each other, right? Like I've noticed, like if you watch Sonics and the way they split generally versus like other teams that like to do some kind of big splits, like Sonics are still at the very least in a position to trade or like support.
Exactly.
And so it's not that bad. It's not as bad as it looks.
Yeah, they don't leave their guys out on an island here. Meanwhile, United in a little bit of trouble as they're outside a circle on the south side. They've got this ridge, and T8 has the hard cover and not letting them pass. Rello working with that AK. Ooh, I know you like to see that. We all like to see a good little AK play here every now and then.
I don't know if Rello is super pumped about having an AK. He probably wishes he had a different gun, but I mean, I'm sure he can make it work.
He is super sad about the fact that he's got to rock an AK. You can tell he's not even wanting to make that push unless he's got all his teammates with him. He's like, I'll do it, but I want you guys coming with me. But you can see Tokyo Manji Gang will lose 1 to BBB there on the north side. As we check in with Yaho, we saw that 2-2 split, big wide 2-2 split from Yaho earlier, and now Dodge has moved in across the way, and now Spoonage and Sparking pushing over here to see if they can provide some support against Dodge, who have pulled a 3-1 split. It looks like they've left Ethan on the north side of the road.
So Yaho had originally had the split that you were talking about, and then I think Dodge pulled in from like the northeast or something like that. They were able to take the top half of that compound.
Oh, those shots. That was actually Moody from Spicy Fish taking those shots from the south side, actually going to force Sparking and Poonage back into the vehicle and go and rejoin their squad.
Oh,
4 deep. Ooh.
That vehicle is actually in a very, very fortunate spot for Shin to really harass, right? If they're trying to get around it or maybe get in it to reposition it, that's been causing a little bit of issues. Shinboy's been utilizing that, and here comes the other duo just straight in.
Look at this. Wraps around to the other side of the compound. Poonage and Sparking will lead things off with a little bit of utility. Nobody from Dodge peeking just yet. Sparking just going to hold that temporary hard cover.
Just sitting in the truck.
Yeah, why not, man? It works. See Poon starting to.
This is actually really not great now for Dodge. The main three, right? The 3 components of that team is just sitting in that building. They're trapped in that building, and Ethan going down is the worst possible thing that could have happened to that team.
That feels like it was almost a huge bait there from Yaho. Like they knew that somebody was still on the other side of the street, and they were saying, you know what?
Completely contained now.
Just dare him to peek, and he pays the price. And now Sparking's going to find Hikerman. You see, they'll try to make the push in. Circle does pop, and it's going to be on top of this. So it has all the time in the world to play out. Now, the rest of the Dodge boys, one of them picked up a shotty. They're going to go for the heal right now while Yaho surrounding the building, laying on all the utility here. A flashbang comes out. Sparking gets knocked or gets blinded temporarily here. Meanwhile, Dodge does get Hikerman back on his feet as the utility keeps coming in. It's just not finding the mark, though.
They're trying to get it through the door. There is a door there that they're all sitting behind in that room, and this building isn't really that pleasant to push either, but they could get a massive advantage if they can just clear out this team. If they get rid of Dodge, they have full control of the entire east side of the circle, and they know that. Yahoo absolutely knows that.
Oof. While this push is going on, we saw SCG try to make a mad dash into the Montenuevo. They end up getting wiped out by Trogloditas as everybody just kind of on the move right now. This is the fight that we're watching, though, is Dodge just holding on to that high ground. They've got the smoke wall just perpetually laying down, making it hard for Yoho to push in. Finna.
So Ethan will go down, and yeah, even though it is a 4-on-2 again, like this build, Yahoo would love to push this. I promise you, they want to just get up there, clear it out, and then have control, but they can't. This building is notoriously obnoxious to push.
And you got to look at things from Yoho's perspective as well in the overall scheme of things. Like, they have not had a great day today. I mean, it's been decent, it's been average, but you know, the rest of the pack is starting to the rest of the pack is starting to separate themselves. So they would love to clean these out. They want to get these points, they want to get these kills, but they don't want to take a loss for it. They don't want to lose a player just off of this push. So clean it up as cleanly as you can.
They lose 1, 2, potentially 3 here, right? Getting that wipe. So I agree with you 100%.
A lot of
fights. It's just tough because they know that I can see it, man. Like, they're running. They know what they want to do. I know what they want to do. They know it needs to be done, but it's just like the risk sometimes is it's holding them back.
So just take your time. I mean, they're in the driver's seat right now. They don't like Dodge is the one that's pushed into the back, and actually T8.
But the problem now becomes T8 and other teams that are now going to start to take position over here because they realize that most of that fight is probably contained to the compound, which it is.
Yep. Well, looks like Shimboy and Poonage on the south side will take a few shots over at T8, keep them honest, keep them from peeking too hard as we check in with Balefrost, keeping eyes on Dodge. I mean, Dodge just has, they're just doing, they can just sit there. Okay, now it's going to have to, now it's going to have to come to a head. So,
and this is still good for Yahoo, though. I mean, they just hold that corner, and then once they get rid of Dodge, if they can, then they get to focus on T8 and all the other kills.
Well, yeah, I mean, it almost feels like Yahoo should kind of send somebody over to those hills, maybe. I don't know.
I feel like that's a play they could have made before T8 got there, and then they potentially could have consolidated back when they were getting pressured. But yeah, I think at this point, this setup is fine for them.
I guess my concern is teams like Bing Bang Boom or Young Kings that are outside of circle on that north side that are looking for somewhere to wrap to. You don't want somebody to kind of take that and pinch, then all of a sudden they're pinched between Dodge and where they need to be.
Sure, but looking at what Young Kings, even if they do make it across, they're just gonna have to play on the backside of that ridge, which isn't great either. And T8's gonna be there. BBB as well. Kings. I don't know if they send it the same direction. I think they go more towards Monty and try to get into the center of that.
Well, the moves are being made. Young Kings send too early, and they get E-Cuz and RDS up to that little bowl up there. Meanwhile, Yahoo just waiting for Dodge to do something. Dodge, they're waiting for Yahoo to leave. So
Yahoo's not going anywhere. So
yeah, it's a game of chicken right now more than anything, and Dodge just waiting to see if they can maybe catch Yahoo lacking just for the slightest bit of time here. Maybe get a little bit of a knock to at least turn it into a 3v3, but Sparking will find Hikerman to start things off here. Shimboy has to pull away. Yeah.
They cannot afford any knocks, so they don't need to really afford any knocks either.
It looks like Finna going to be able to go for the res onto Hikerman, get him back up to 3 strong here. Bale just holding the line as... Meanwhile, Bing Bang Boom did go into the north side of Monty, just as you thought that they would. As trying to cross the street and make their way into wildcards. Poonage and Shimboy will go up to the hills. As Balefrost still holding that line, still waiting for Dodge to make a move here, but no moves have come. And Sparking will find Finna. That'll be another knock on to Dodge as... Oh, Sparking gonna find another one. Very well played by Sparking. He sees Cat's head. Ooh.
I thought for a second that was it, but wait a second.
There you go. Balefrost. Okay, Balefrost finds Ikuz. And there you go. Young Kings eliminated. Good stuff from Yahoo. Cleaning up. They do take that foothold on the hill. And it is down to just one. Psycho, though, will find Shinboy as T8 starting to get involved, and now Gat's eating blue damage. Sparking will get him cleaned up. Dodge is done. Yahoo now can turn their full attention over towards this push from Tactical 8.
They should be able to get Shin up. They need to move up Sparking and Bale to help support, but no. I think they got him, yeah. They will get up Shinboy. Very nice.
Ooh, the reknock comes, though, from Hooligan.
I lied. The nade just at the last second before that. I lied.
Unfortunate.
I apologize.
As
I thought for sure they had that.
They almost did, man. They almost did. And now they're getting shot in the back from Bing Bang Boom. And Spicy Fish actually starting to make their way up on T8. So T8 needs to be a little bit careful here. Sparky will go down to Tater. Hooligan, Tater. Hooligan with the... What is he doing with the sawed off? He tries to push over. Hooligan doesn't care at all. He's just making moves here. He's gonna find Poonage, gets the knock, gets the flush, and now all of a sudden Balefrost the last one up here. 6 kills rather for Yaho. Added another one. A 7th comes through, but Yaho does go down to TAC 8. And now they are left to try to go for these reses here as we are back towards the city where action has been happening.
Action has indeed been happening. More importantly, this circle, I've never seen a circle end like this before, by the way. I've never seen a circle. It's centered directly on that road. And mind you, this is a road that we often don't see like in like many, even like circle 6 or 7. So the fact that this is ending here it's pretty wild. I don't think I've legitimately ever seen or played a circle that's ended here in comp.
It's weird in the fact that it's also kind of moved from north to south through hardships too, right? So it's kind of forcing everybody to move north to south through the city as well. So you can see Fiuma trying to deal with Trogloditas right here, but they also have that third party of Just Too Easy. You've got Wildcard and what's remaining, or one half of what's remaining of Bing Bang Boom. Keenan's still up there. Roth has managed to make his way over to where TAC 8 just was dispatched after taking care of Yaho.
Should be able to make a pretty decent placement play here, though, if he just prones. I think there's definitely enough there for him to just kind of chill. Harold, though, going to get a knock on a Pulsa, as now Trog is fighting for their life, and that's going to be another knock from Kodak this time.
From Rusty Zero will find Ribo XD. Won't find anything else, though, as Draft King and Capitan will pull back, and now Rusty goes... Well, he doesn't go down to the blue, but he goes down to DraftKings, so another point picked up by Fiumba there as this is all sorting itself out. Meanwhile, United starting to make moves to pushing towards Synergy, and wouldn't you know it, this will be another game where United, if they can take care of Synergy cleanly here, would have a lot of high ground to work with, as Snakers will take out Kickstart. I'm sorry, Snakers takes 1, but Silzen trades back onto Kickstart, so it's a 3v3 here as United working the high ground, Synergy working the low. Rello will spot out one. Nice, silly done. Silzen goes down, and it is down to just Danny, who I think has next to no HP left.
And Silzen is going to get eliminated. Meanwhile, as does SG and the rest of Pippa. So that just like that, multiple teams just getting absolutely wiped out.
Sorry about that. That was some confusing casting there for a minute. There was a lot of bodies being laid down. But now, again, United, as we said, has that high ground, and we have seen so many times now what they can do with it as they get everybody up, they get everybody healed, and they have everything just kind of laid out before them here. Sonics has the good compound, though.
Yeah, that being said, though, I mean, United still have to make it off of this mountain, which is not... It's not the best, especially with Spicy Fish kind of looking at them. Granted, Spicy Fish does have to move soon, but United may have a difficult time coming off that mountain, especially onto the Sonics. So watch for that.
Yeah, you see Wildcard, Just Too Easy, Tokyo Manji Gang still have to move a little bit farther south, but they have to do it under the watchful eyes of United now. As United, actually, the southern two, they've got 2 watching Spicy Fish. They're going to find Pat Caps. Moody has made his way through, but he's going to go down as well. So 2 more kills picked up there for United. Flood gets knocked in the process, though. We'll have to stop down, and at least one person will have to go for that res, as Snakers keeps eyes on Tokyo Manji Gang, finding Adam through the smoke. We're getting to see the fight through the scope of Snakers here. The smoke being laid down, keeping Wildcard alive here, and they're actually going to win the fight. Tokyo Manji Gang goes down.
They do indeed. Still a hell of an effort for them, all things considered, but now it is down to United on that high ground, just absolutely farming everyone below, and I am not very hopeful for Kodak's chances yet.
This man's like cosplaying Wanted right now. He's bending the bullets around the barrels as Snakers will go down.
I actually watched that movie the other day. That's crazy that you mentioned it.
It's a sick movie, man.
It's a solid movie, man.
Yeah, just
it's a banger, as they say.
Hit the target, but it's behind you. Bend the bullet. Well, Rello can
also shot him in like the Achilles there. It's like just the very tip of his ankle. I think this is what he saw.
That's all it needed, though, isn't it? As he
1
was
HP.
1
And
HP.
This is what I'm talking about, though. This climb down is going to be where I'm worried for EU.
It looks like Kalnix was able to get the spray onto Rello. Flood.
This is the angle.
Flood, yeah, he just got knocked though, so he's. I think he was up. He was up a little bit higher when he did get knocked though. So this is a reposition coming out from Flood.
Yeah. Like, so that 2-story, the way you push those is from the sides where there are no windows or doors. And that is the correct approach that Flood is taking. Unfortunately, for all the other teams, those windows and doors are pretty much giving Sonics the sightlines they need onto those teams. But you can see it there in the building.
Sonics 4 up, have the hard cover.
United with recover 4 up as well.
Yeah, and they have a little bit of a high ground. They don't have the same hard cover in the term of the high ground. They don't have the same hard cover as Sonics does, really. But as you said, they do kind of have a path at least into circle. Let's see if wildcard.
God, this is such a weird circle, man. I still can't get over it. It's so
bizarre.
Odd.
Yeah, it's been definitely tough to follow, as there's been a lot of fights going on at multiple levels here. And wildcard using whatever smokes they have left to try to make a push, but they're having to do it as wildcard or as Sonics taking shots, United taking shots, and it looks like Kickstart may have just spotted out. Ooh, Kalnix.
Kalnix gonna find mine, but he's gonna get traded out. That is a knock onto the side of Sonics. They should be able to recover that. More importantly, I don't see any utility at all on a kick. I don't know if any of the EU boys really have much utility. Snakers, okay, he has some smokes. That's good. Flood I didn't see, I wasn't sure, and Rello I wasn't sure, but Kick is completely out of any utility for this final push.
Yeah, she's got some smokes, so.
And even though wildcard is kind of up the creek, if you get my drift, they're still in a top 3 situation. They've managed to get 8 kills this game, and they're still climbing. So that's
awesome
massive,
today, man.
massive for wildcard. Yeah, today was huge, and it was very impressive to see them turn it around. They needed to get top 8. They're now 6th.
Yeah, I mean, you're
that's
talking
fine.
about
The fact that they're dead is totally fine. They had a hell of a day.
You're talking about a team that came into today in, I believe, or into this weekend. In 10th place, and they've managed to climb all the way up to 6th. That's huge stuff from Wildcard, as Sonic's starting to try to prep here for the inevitable push from United. Mime tries to push out a little bit more.
And that's happening. Your 2 Titans fighting, baby, 4v4. I mean, this is the perfect way to end the second to last day.
One gets spotted out. Mime stops down, gets the heels off, but the smoke cloud looming large right now. Reload Flood trying to work the edge here. Gonna get spotted out by Shrimzy. Nice spray coming in from him, and Mime now working around the edge. He's gonna find Reload.
Goodness.
Sonics just absolutely destroying E United right now. It's down to Kickstart. He'll find another one, but goes down. Sonics not wasting any time dismantling E United.
I was expecting that to be a little more competitive, I guess, but man, Sonics just found the knocks. That was quick, efficient.
Well, I mean, that's a hell of a statement to make in the last game of the day, going into the last day of games between the 2 teams that are fighting it out for first place. E United just got absolutely worked there. Kickstart did his best, man, but the smoke wall, I mean, Sonics played it absolutely beautifully.
Yeah, and they came around the edges of that smoke too and able to punish. I feel like if you played that fight back 10 times, though, I'm not necessarily sure that'd be the outcome every single time.
I don't think it would be.
But for that specific outcome, I mean, that was clean as you like from the Sonics.
I mean, just the confidence and aggression of Sonics to know as the second wild card was dispatched with, immediately on the push, laying down the smoke. They didn't wait for E United to try to take that ground away. They were the aggressors.
Fair, but also to be fair to United, though, they were on that hill. They were taking a lot of damage. They had been knocked multiple times, so I imagine their armor wasn't great.
Oh, absolutely.
Sonics obviously didn't. They had a knock or two, but they still had the compound. They had the building, so they weren't dealing with that. Regardless, incredibly clean to Sonics. We now have a very competitive top 2, and then a big shout out, obviously, to Wildcard, and even to, I feel like Dodge had their moments as well today. They had some good moments.
Oh yeah, Dodge had a fantastic day as well. Obviously, Wildcard, I think, will still end up the highest points. Score of the day. But a fantastic performance from those guys. I can't wait to hear what the desk has to say about all of this. It's setting up for an awesome
Tomorrow's
final
gonna be
day
good,
of
man.
game, guys.
It's going to be good.
I'm counting down the hours until we can get back in here and see how this thing works out. But that's going to do it for us today. We'll throw it over to the desk to break down day number 2.
Whew, I love it. That was Sonics. I know, Cam, you and I have been talking about, like, okay, Sonics are playing in this, and Sonics have been getting victories. That felt like a Sonics victory. That was very clean, methodical. They knew how they were going to make the approach, and that's why we've been kind of going back and forth with this. And I just want to see more of it. So screw me talking. We're just going to go into the highlights, and I want to see it again. Clover, break us down at the start.
Yeah, and you know, we've talked about like the return to greatness for Sonics as well, like a great Sonics game. TMG, again, today it just seems like things clicked off. We talked about it at the top of show about are they going to start to return to greatness? And we were looking at them winning out a lot of scrappy fights, finding kills, finding points. You saw in that first one. Now here with SCG, just this really aggressive push, finding that clear. And so the big issue still for TMG, though, is they're not closing out games. If they can take some of that momentum tomorrow, that would be absolutely huge for them.
Yeah, Yoho as well, similar situation with them in terms of them being known for their scrappy early game fights. This time, they were close to being as successful as TMG. I think they ended this game with 7 kills overall, so it's a bit of a step in the right direction. Unfortunately, it's just not that big explosive nature that we are so used to, as well, considering how far behind Sonics and especially E United they are. But listen, if they're able to at least pick it up and solidify their 3rd place finish here at ESL, I think that'll be pretty good. Good hold by Tactical 8. But it was this final end that I really wanted to look at. Look at how Sonics pushed out. We heard Godspeed and Poro talk about how they had a lot more resources than E United, but they still, even just their general approach to this, immediately the smokes went out. Immediately we saw Mime rush forward with Tickleton not far behind him. Shrimsy off on the side to get that first knock, just making sure that E United had no time to get any sort of positioning towards the middle.
16 points on E United's 14 points is going to keep this interesting, and Wildcard with 13. Man, I love it whenever it feels like we're good at our jobs, because it feels like we were talking about these teams at the start, all considered. Wildcard making the climb that we know we've had our eyes on. Now they passed 8. Now starting to climb into that position where they can maybe start assaulting even higher than that. And I know we've got an interview prepped up, so let's go ahead and make our switch over to that and see who we've got waiting for us as, oh, hey, it's almost like we were setting up this conversation here. So, starting it off, thank you for coming talking to us, Cal. I know you guys, in a video that you said that you were aiming for 8. You guys got to be feeling pretty good about that now as you've surpassed that position. What is the new goal, and how are you planning on getting there?
I mean, the new goal is to kind of stick where we are. That'd be nice. I wouldn't want to like reach our goal and then go backwards. I mean, going back to where we started before today. But no, I think like, I mean, now that we're in 6, staying in 6 is probably our new goal. Like, yeah, we set the benchmark pretty low, stay realistic, had a bang a day, and now we're in 6, and other teams were struggling a little bit. So 6 sounds good.
Now, was there anything that changed to give you guys a banger day? Did y'all come in today with a different mentality? Maybe have a pep talk to throw some of those bad days behind and have just, I mean, what is your single greatest day so far for this event?
No, basically nothing changed. We started with some new keywords. We've been saying like, oh, this is our bread and butter. Every time a zone pops, we're like, oh, this is our bread and butter, even if it's not. So today we went in a day with like confidence and communication, the 2 C's. So we had the 2 B's and then we got the 2 C's. So maybe that was what put us over the line there.
I mean, again, I just have to reiterate like how strong, how good of a day this was. Do you feel that this was like a bit of a like expected level performance? Maybe you performed a little over than expectations, because like just of how we've seen bigger numbers for sure. But I guess I just want to know what should we expect going into tomorrow as far as your goal of sticking in 6th.
I mean, I think that's pretty much our level of PUBG. The level that we played today was pretty solid. So, I mean, didn't do that for the last 4 days. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll make up for the first 4 days tomorrow and just have like a 100-point day or something like that. Who knows? That'd be nice.
I got to follow up. We talk about this a lot. The importance of communication is one of the things we don't get to delve into, specifically on the pro scene, because maps are huge, and trying to communicate how to navigate it with all the fighting that's going on is extremely complicated. I want to just give us a little bit more insight on that. And also, isn't it a little dangerous to have an Aussie on your team and start leaning into C words?
Exactly. I mean, every now and again, no, he's right. Seriously, sometimes we let it slip, and my teammates will pull up and they'll be like, "Shut up, Cal. We're playing the game." And I'll be like, "Oh, it just slipped. My bad." But yeah, no, the communication is, especially when I don't think we've been playing it most of the time, but we like to play pretty split around the map and like not necessarily be on top of each other. So sometimes like communicating what's important from different point of views is very different and very difficult, depending on what's happening. Everybody's got their own threat to deal with. So it has to be pretty clean, and sometimes we're not so good. But today felt good. Today was good communication.
Well, we're going to finish out that communication by giving you free reign to talk about whatever you would like. Thank family, friends, whatever, but the stage is yours, sir.
Yeah, I'd love to thank my teammates. Seriously, like this first 4 days has been an absolute killer. I'd love to thank the fans. I had lots of messages of people being like, we're rooting for you. It's going to come eventually. We're going to have a banging day, and today happened to be that day. So yeah, no, thank you for sharing us on. I hope we can do it again tomorrow.
Well, I know the fact that we are going to be invested in that storyline because I don't know. It's like whenever we see these rises in position at these stages, it just that's what pulls me into PUBG and what I love. I know a lot of times we focus on like who's in first and who's in second, but seeing a team that we know can compete in what is a very difficult lobby, finding their success, it just makes my heart warm, Clover.
Oh, absolutely. And two, I mean, just we're so close to PCS 7, right? It's going to start here in just a few weeks. And so the momentum from this event to the way that teams are popping off, regardless if they're the one that ends up winning ESL, that is the energy that you want to see them finish out the year. When talking about PGC points, we're looking not only at this event, but what's to come to prepare to show everybody else why we're the best region, because North America, Latin America, the Americas in general, we've had some pretty strong flexes in the last 2 years. That's all I gotta say.
I do feel like the lobby is leveling up. There was a conversation that Godspeed was having about this yesterday, is the fact that it's not necessarily that Sonics have faltered, it's the fact that the rest of the lobby has tried to step up and is really competing against them at the time. So, Cam,
that didn't age too well going into today, actually, because outside of Wildcard, you also have Sonics and United gaining a whole bunch of points. As good of a day as Wildcard had, you also can't deny that a lot of the people that they were contending against, the Fuyumba, the Dodges, Young Kings, and BBB, also didn't have too great of days themselves, just because United and Sonics were soaking up everything that Wildcard wasn't
allowed, Cam. That's the way I look at it. They weren't allowed to have those points whenever somebody steps up and takes them away from them. So we're just going to get to the end stage, everybody. So Clover, give us your final thoughts before we close everything out.
Wildcard hit 100 kills. So, I mean, talking about point sponging, some of the teams that really needed those opportunities today took it. Going into tomorrow, there's so many stories to look at, so many different races and chases that we've been keeping an eye on. And I still can't definitively say who's going to be the winner for this event. And that's what's exciting.
Cam?
I mean, I can't definitively say either, but we can't ignore that going into 5 games left of play, there is a 16-point gap for United. And like, even with the couple of 0-point games that they had in week 1, even with a couple of the lower scoring games that they had today before going into Miramar, they still were able to extend that lead. So like, Sonics are just behind United, but they are going to need to really give it that final last Sunday push, I think, if they want to take it away from United, because like, United might stumble, but they never trip, they never fall.
Well, here we are. We've got to see what's going to be happening. 5 games left, 1 more day. Make sure you tune in. You've been watching for this long. You know you want to be there whenever we find out who's going to be hoisting the crown, who's going to be at the top of this. On behalf of everybody in production, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. We've got Poro, we've got Godspeed, Toffees, who's going to be on vacation, and Cal. Dude, Waikikamu Cal did a phenomenal interview. Thank you so much. Coming in, being bright and happy. I love it whenever we get to see some insights from the players. Cam, Clover, you guys did great. And chat, my nose appreciates all the attention you've been giving it. So I will see you all tomorrow. Make sure you tune in. We will be waiting, and see you on the Battleground.